Welcome to Dark Dial.
Welcome! Happy Thursday!
Good evening and welcome to Dark Dial.
It is Thursday, not Friday. Thursday.
We actually made our normal day.
We did, but you can still watch us on Friday. Like, if you come back tomorrow, like, rewatch this video, all good, alright? Like, we don't mind.
We almost made our time, too.
Not, broken the headphone right
Yeah,
before.
we had a slight crisis. So we have some cheap earbuds to pipe them audio. Them being Jacqueline and Chance over there at the table. Should we introduce ourselves?
Sure.
We'll start there. Hi, I'm Gavin. You can find me places under Merlin's Museum.
All right. I'm Jacqueline.
Oh.
You can find me on Facebook under Cryptic J, or you can go to my website, www.deepfrieddesigns.com, for any kind of specialized, personalized merchandise, t-shirts, keychains. We do it all.
Yeah, Deep Fried Designs.
Alright, and I'm Chance. So you can find me places. 3D Arms Shop on, I want to say X, but I haven't posted anything there yet. There may be some updates in the future with different names or something like that. So we're going to figure that out. But yeah, that's me. Hey, how you doing?
If you're watching this, please do us a favor and like and subscribe. Follow us on Rumble. We're if you go to darkdial.com, you can find all of our social links on there, as well as sign up for our forum. I mean, mainly we're focused on YouTube, Rumble, and X, I think, right now, though. So
Indeed.
we're streaming all over, though. So hi to you folks watching on Twitch, or if you happen to be watching on my Facebook account, it's going to my Facebook account. But yeah, please do like and subscribe. It really helps us out. We need the help.
One day I'll be able to convince these two that signing an exclusive partnership deal with Africa TV is where it's going to be at, alright?
Africa TV.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Anyway, so yeah, Jacqueline, before the show, like we were all ready to start, and I'm like, hey, check your earbud real quick, and her earbud was underneath the wheel of her chair. So, and then I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. I had bought spare earbuds, and I cannot find them.
I thought they were spaghetti. I'm sorry. I think I consumed them.
I had to pull the pair of earbuds off of my 3DS.
Sorry.
But it's
First, I had to
we're
feed the 3DS into the VCR slot, and then he just, like, fished out the earbuds.
well, I already had the 3DS from. It's in here, like.
Rick just said he's here for a few minutes, but he's going to miss most of the show because he had plans on Thursday, but we're glad he's able to join.
Hey, Rick.
Super
Hey,
appreciate
Marty.
it.
See you guys. Yeah, we commented right before we got on air. I'm like, oh yeah, Rick's not gonna be with us today. So
Glad he
love
could
to
join
see
in
you
for a
guys.
little bit.
Thanks for at least checking in.
Absolutely.
Good to know you're out there,
Very much appreciated.
living life and doing okay. It's gonna be a pretty laid back episode. I say that pretty often. Not last episode though. We had a whole lot last episode. We got a
didn't
couple
even get
things.
to cover it all.
We're gonna try to open up calls and probably sit and wait and see if somebody gives us a ring really quickly. So, how are you guys doing? What's new? What you been up to this week?
Absolutely not much of anything. I've been trying to get swole at the gym, you know.
Hey, it looks like it's working a little bit.
A little bit.
saw
There's
those muscles
something going
popping.
on. It's the good downlighting we have in here. It really hits the angles, you know, gets the good shadows.
Yes, it's very expensive lighting.
We have the power of the sun funneled through a tiny little magnifying glass at the top of the studio. That's what you guys are seeing right now.
Yeah, we modeled it off of the Great Pyramids. Harvest energy to run the other lights. What about you, Jacqueline?
It's been a week, mainly kids stuff, and then we had the loss of 2 of our little animals, so that was pretty hard, but overall, just a busy week.
We're gonna have a moment of silence right now for Sunny and Luna, the axolotls. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, unfortunately, we had some cool axolotls and they died. I don't know what went wrong. Something went wrong. Yeah, I've been playing Zelda Ocarina of Time for the first time ever in my life.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I know it's ancient, and I've never been a big Zelda fan, I guess.
Well,
And-
Ocarina's a good one to get into.
Well, what I've realized is I've kind of had a prejudice against RPGs because I really don't like turn-based combat in games.
Mhm.
And I have discovered through stuff like, different Metroidvania style games that I really like non-linear platformers. And basically that's what Zelda is, as an action RPG. So I've actually been enjoying it. I beat Zelda 2. I think I actually talked about this on air before a few months back. So I picked up on my 3DS the, stereoscopic 3D version of Ocarina of Time, and it's been actually pretty good. I've been enjoying it. So aside from that, I've been playing with radios.
Funny is, I've never played Zelda, but I actually met dead people of Zelda.
A little closer to.
I forgot what's his name?
Masha.
No, you.
I met him in person.
You met Miyamoto.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
In Memphis, when I went to the Zelda
Orchestra, right?
orchestra event, and I didn't actually know who I was meeting when I was meeting him, and then
He's not a big gamer or
not
like a
at
big
all.
Nintendo fan, so
we got the tickets for free, and
oh boy.
and we ended up going. I was telling Gavin about it one day, and he's like, "Oh my God, do you know who you met?" And I'm like, "No," but it ended up being the biggest one of them all.
Yeah, you had no idea. Yeah, I mean the
You
guy's
met
like
Mr. Zelda himself?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
almost like Mr. Nintendo himself.
that's him.
Yep, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Pretty cool.
Put his wiki up just for funsies here.
That's him. It was really cool. They had a great interpreter. We got to go, he was very friendly. I got a poster and a t-shirt and stuff. Very neat experience, but I had no idea really
you were
what
meeting?
it was. Yeah, I didn't know what to
Yeah,
do
she
on
told
him.
me that and I almost died. I'm like, no way. Because the guy's he developed Mario and instrumental in Nintendo.
When I definitely
to say the
did
least.
not know any of that at the time. I was like, oh, this is cool. Free
Yeah, I
tickets
mean-
to a Zelda thing.
It's honestly weird that I haven't really. My chair is driving me. It's weird that I hadn't played that game or really many Zelda games because I think as a kid I found them boring. My taste has changed just like anybody else's.
Majora's Mask is my favorite. I have very vivid memories from my formative years of going in my brother's room and playing that on his Nintendo 64 back when I was younger. And I honestly think that game in particular spurred both my love for action RPGs and my love for the horror genre at the exact same time.
Yeah, I started to realize that the whole non-linear adventure game basically is an action RPG. I mean, they're maybe a little bit more puzzly, but games like Shantae, Metroid.
You gotta play Dark
Pretty
Souls,
close.
man. That
Yeah,
whole series.
Dark Souls. I need to play Dark Souls at some point, but slow.
Baby steps.
Yeah, easy as it goes here. It's funny you say that because the first one that I fired up on the 3DS was Majora's Mask because
Yeah.
I thought I'd like it more, and as I started to play it, I felt the space was constrained because it seems like most of it's in the town and you're mostly just traveling time rather than space, whereas it seems like Ocarina of Time is a larger map. But I haven't played through it. You have to tell me if I'm right there.
It's been a long time since I played it, so I vividly remember the town and a few maybe dungeons outside of it, but I couldn't tell you much about the space difference between the two. I haven't really played through Ocarina all the way, and it's been a long time since I even attempted a playthrough of that.
When I went and read some reviews comparing the two, because both of those were released on 3DS, and my understanding of it was that, well, at least what everybody said was that Majora's Mask was more of an emotional tale, and I was like, that sounds boring. I'm not interested in that. I'm the kind of guy who when I start a video game and someone's talking to me, I'm just mashing the A button, and I'm just like, let me play. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. That and radio stuff. Playing with radios. I'm probably gonna do a video on start doing some videos on the Merlin's Museum channel for tech and gaming stuff, because that doesn't really fit under the Dark Dial brand. And one of them I want to do is about the antennas that Jacqueline helped me get off of Temu, because I got this little Temu addiction. So I got a couple of various different like fake Nagoya antennas that I've tried out, and I might go through those. And
He's rocking reps, huh?
no affiliation to Temu.
He out here
honestly.
rocking reps.
I mean, I did get the world's coolest little cell phone.
This thing.
It's so little.
I said we should do something about that too, because it's pretty interesting.
Look at that. It's so cool.
That's insane. I mean, it's like, it's
Yeah, it's like literally the size of a little vape.
like what? What?
Cameras, has Android. Come on, Temu has some cool stuff.
They do. A lot of it's all cheap Chinese goods, but
Isn't everything nowadays?
Exactly.
These are just the cheapest Chinese goods.
Well, and a lot of the times like the little tiny cell phone, that was part of one of the games that I played, so I ended up getting it for free. Like, I don't know, it's kind of cool.
Well, I've always used AliExpress for little adapters and stuff of that nature. And Temu is basically that. They just gamified it and tried to make it like addictive, like a casino
Oh, it
game.
totally is, though.
You need to use Alibaba, though, so you can order 10,000 tiny adapters at once.
Well, I think AliExpress is Alibaba.
It is.
except you just can't
Alibaba's just
order
like a
in-
wholesale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can order in bulk on Alibaba. You have
Bulk.
yeah. You need 10,000 gross of this.
Even the mail lady laughed at me. It was like, yeah, I've noticed your small addiction. I was like, hey, it's not my fault. But she said there's somebody out there a couple streets over that's worse than me.
That's all that matters. As
Yeah,
long
that's
as
all
you're not the worst,
not the
like,
worst.
like, it all works out.
But she said it's because of my packages. She won't go to Temu because she was like, oh, I know it must be addicting.
That's good.
They need like a Temu Anonymous or something, a class that helps you stop.
Oh, well, you know they've got like a team of trained clinical psychologists that are working out how to maximize the dopamine
Absolutely.
efficacy loop that they stick you into.
Well, it's just like they do the same thing in all social media companies, right? Is how to make this as addictive as possible, to trigger as much dopamine as possible, and keep people on the platform as long as possible. And that's exactly what Temu is. It's like eBay, Chinese eBay, which is basically AliExpress, like gamified like that. It's weird.
It's bad.
It seems to be more efficient than any of the other play games, earn things sites I've ever seen in
Yeah,
my
at
life,
least
because
I'm actually
95% of those are
winning
scams.
By the way,
what's
if you-
even funnier is I had so many accounts set up. I got one the other day for, a chance with my last name. And everybody's laughing because I'm like, yeah, that's the other account I
Oh,
had.
it's funny. I regularly get emails.
So
saying it's
sorry.
okay.
So
It's
sorry.
So funny. I'll see it and I'm like, oh, something just got shipped.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I had to make multiple accounts to keep playing the game. So, it works like that.
You're admitting to a TOS violation, right?
Well, no,
Oh,
technically
no.
they're y'all's accounts.
Yeah.
I just played for you.
I use Temu regularly.
Like,
You might want to move your phone so that's not vibrating the
Finding
mic.
table, yeah.
By the way, if you're out there
put
listening,
it on
I
silent,
tampered
yeah.
with the mics a little bit, so if we're getting really echoey, let us know. Take offense, I can set things back.
I'll
Lower-
take so much offense.
I lowered our noise gates because we're all in such close proximity that we're trying to. Yeah, it just gets weird with these condenser mics.
Like,
So,
watch this. I guarantee you I can make myself pick up on 3 microphones at once.
oh God, please. All you have to do is speak low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been a battle, but sometimes we were getting cut off, especially my voice, which is funny because I'm kind of off to the side in a CRT.
Yeah, it looks like it might be pretty echoey in there, too.
It's very echoey in here, but I messed with the noise gates a little bit, so we'll see how this turns out. If you guys hear a big problem, like if it's really echoey, let me know.
Oh, Rex said he is
B&H.
addicted to B&H. I
What
can
is
understand.
that?
B&H is good.
It's like the B&H camera, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I've ordered some stuff off of there. I've gotten film, some black and white film stock off of there, and I really like them. They came through with some good product.
and this is the site.
Yeah, I'm pulling
it's
it up
not.
right now.
It's an electronics outlet, basically.
Yeah.
Don't show me things like this, guys. I literally have an issue.
No, this isn't one you're gonna have an issue with. I've
Okay.
ordered we have a laser printer that I got off there for like $20. I've gotten cheap routers. What I watch is Slick Deals, slickdeals.net or slick.deals, and B&H comes up on there often, but it's just like a forum deal site. I don't know. We find some good deals on
I
there.
was gonna say, like, I have an obsession with like the Red Bull and stuff, and you're able to find like cheaper deals on cases of them, so that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, when they go on sale.
God, Rex got me browsing B&H on stream. This
No.
is bad. This is bad.
I think I like the Temu and stuff like that because I don't like to go to stores anymore. Like,
Nobody
especially
does.
going to Walmart and stuff like that. It's insane.
Nobody does. And
So-
we could talk about that. Like, that almost seems like it's by design. That falls into the level of conspiracy because self-checkouts and the automation of, like, number one, they've eliminated so many workers. You go to a Best Buy today and it's...
There's 2 people.
Yeah, you can't find anybody.
And it never used to be like that. In fact, people used to complain that it was the opposite, that you would walk into a Best Buy.
Too much. You know, you'd have someone bothering you about
You're
do you
like,
need
"Can I
help
just
every
look
10
around?"
seconds. Yeah.
Right, that the sales pressure was too high, and now there's nobody there to help you at all.
Well, and with us having one Walmart in town, that's where everybody is all the time. And I've just gotten to the point where I don't want to do it and then have to go check out my own groceries and have them questioning if I scanned every single thing and watching over you like you're a criminal.
They try to hawk me for my receipts, and I just walk past them. I'm like, no,
It's
no
not,
thanks, bye.
you don't legally have to do that.
I do love going to Walmart, though. Walmart safaris is what I call it.
It's gross.
Dude,
you
I
go
can't
there
walk out without
and-
buying something I wasn't supposed to.
The people watching is exquisite
Oh,
in
yeah.
Walmart, okay?
It
That's
can
true.
be. It's
There's,
Exquisite.
the people
It's
of
gross,
Walmart.com.
everything about it. And it seems like that's been the movement by large corporations to push people off of brick and mortar anyway. So, like, when they say, well, brick and mortar's dying, it's by design that it's dying, though. You've set it up that way. I saw something recently. I want to say the cost. What was the number? I don't know. It was something like $170,000 for a single self-checkout installed, and that's not necessarily a one-time cost because they require pretty specific maintenance. And you could be paying a cashier to stand there that entire time,
Yeah.
and they just don't. And
Well, they do have someone. There is someone that works
Which is funny.
self-checkout.
They just stand
They
there.
just stand there.
Mhm.
They just stand there, and then when you go to buy, I got carded for cough syrup the other day,
Oh, that's a new
and I
one.
had to wait like 5 minutes. Like, my mother was sick, and I was gonna get her some cough medicine, and I had to stand there for 5 minutes before this lady finally realized that, oh, he's waiting for me, and then they had to check my ID to buy NyQuil.
yeah, well, they do that anyway because of the
It's getting
you do that with cough
ridiculous.
syrup, but
I'm tired of having to scan my own stuff and then being watched over when they could just be scanning it.
what's the motivation though? Is it just to keep you at home? Like, is it that whole you'll own nothing and you'll be happy?
No, the
That
motivation.
stay out of your car, stay in your home. We'll just bring it to you.
Yeah, pretty
Sit,
much.
sit in the pod and eat the bugs.
I think it's profit. I think it's bottom line. The less workers they have to hire, labor is the most expensive cost for any business. And if you can have one person working 8 checkouts where the people themselves are doing the work, then you have just saved 9 spots. You know what I mean? Like, you've saved 9
Yeah.
$15 an hour spots. So
But I don't think they're actually saving that much money. Because the cost of installing and maintaining them, and then the cost of theft. Because
Well, and
like
they've had to upgrade the security cameras and all of those self-checkout things that record you.
they're starting to lean towards the idea that they're going to use AI to tell whether you actually are scanning. what
they
you're-
do already. I've seen some.
Yeah,
I've
but it's
seen
not
some
good.
videos that show that. It's not. It's really, 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 really not. And a lot of them are like, if you steal a bunch of small items, it will the AI that they're using will remember your face essentially, and it will sit there and wait for you to have stolen enough small items for them to hit you with like an actual big boy charge and not just like a misdemeanor shoplifting or something like that.
Ah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and here in our town, like, we don't have, a real news station or anything like that. We just have this little, Facebook page that goes around. And even if they think that you stole something from like Walmart or Target, somehow your image and everything else gets put on Facebook and you're like shamed before they even know if you did it.
The community comes out and shames you. Well, they've had cases where, like, I saw a case where some lady stole. She forgot to check out a pack of Reese's Pieces, I think it was. And she checked out everything else in her cart and missed that item. They took her in and prosecuted her for it. And it's like, okay.
Well,
I'd
and
lose
then
my
like
mind.
when we were at Walmart the other day, I was doing self-checkout and I was scanning everything, like kids' cuisines, like dollar meals. I'm scanning them. The guy comes up behind me and he's like, I don't think you scanned one. And he pulls up this video, and in the video, you can literally see me looking for the barcode to scan it. But yet that was so embarrassing to have somebody come up to you and like, you're in trouble for not scanning a dollar meal that I scanned.
Guy came up to me doing that, I'd just say F off and I'd leave all my stuff there. It's like, I'm not coming back. Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Like, back off. Like,
Yeah,
you can
we've
miss
had-
me with that.
We've talked off camera about incidents we've had.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that was really embarrassing though. Like, I'm not trying to scam Walmart for $1 kids cuisine.
But of all the places to do that at, I mean, man,
No, it's
Sam Walton's
weird.
not even alive anymore, is he? I'm not taken from the man himself.
No, it's
I'm
his
not
family.
encouraging theft.
No.
Okay, this is not legal advice. Don't steal
I
from
just
your
wish
local
that they
Walmarts.
would, do
No, it's not worth
a
the
job.
risk. Are you crazy? Yeah, you're gonna get prosecuted over whatever nonsense you're gonna steal from Walmart that you can probably do without.
Well, unless you're in California, then you can get $950 of shit at a
That's
time
true.
before they come after you.
Well, and that's exactly it. That's what I was about to say. Is there's this society? You know, I hear people refer to it as social engineering, but if you're from a tech background, if you know hacking at all, social engineering isn't. Social engineering is like manipulating people into giving you passwords and stuff like that. So I think that's the wrong term. I think the proper term is societal engineering.
Yeah.
That you're engineering the society to adapt to a new way of living. And part of that is maybe these self-checkouts, but like you said, in a lot of states where, you know, you have to grand theft or what is it? It's a misdemeanor if it's under $1,000 in like California, Illinois, New York, a lot of these states.
Well, it's not even a misdemeanor. It's a civil offense. Like, if they get you for it, you just get a
Ticketed.
ticket and you move on with your
Well, I'm
life.
pretty sure
Yeah.
in Texas it's $500 as a felony.
Well, I'm sure it is in Texas. Texas
That's
don't
where
mess
I'm
around.
from, so I know it's a little different
I
there.
don't know. I think it's accelerationism rearing its ugly head. There's groups of people engineering this kind of thing to cause societal downfall, and they're trying to make it happen quicker and quicker and quicker so that new things can start. If you break down what's old, the faster you can break it down, the faster you can implement something new.
Well, it looks like they've kind of jumped the gun with the checkout stuff, though. There's a radio in the other room. Hang on.
It's just
A little startling sometimes.
I don't know if maybe they've jumped the gun on it, but I feel like it's something that is still. I don't know if they've jumped the gun on it. It because it's becoming such a normalized thing, and people are. It feels like just more
Well,
normal.
some of them are
the way
walking it
people
back.
talk about it.
That's why I say they've jumped the gun, because
Okay.
there's a lot of stores that have been walking back the rollout of self-checkout. I'm trying to think of some names. I think Target's rolled it back to some degree. There's some UK chains that I've read in articles, some big UK grocery chains that are starting to pull self-checkout out because it doesn't seem to be working as well as they'd hoped.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The ones who are reliant on it are hoping for more advanced checkout, more advanced AI to detect, theft, or literally robot checkout, where robotic arms scan everything for
Have you guys seen the Amazon
I
stores?
was just about to ask you the same, where it literally goes up and then goes down and our dog is nuts. Goes down and like grabs it for you. But you know what? It's probably safer than people climbing ladders.
You know what's even crazier than that? Is they've started the ability for you to just scan your palm, like your palm print, and it'll pay for you. You can link your card to your palm, and you just walk up to the checkout, it scans your hand, and you've paid.
I'm not doing that.
No,
I don't do fingerprints, DNA, hand scanning, eyeball scanning for anything.
I've had half of mine since I was like 15 years old to burn my fingerprints off of my hand.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, like my brother, he travels like
creepy.
a ton for work, and he ended up having to do the, what is that, the
Pre-flight?
airport? It's like Fast Pass or whatever.
Yeah, the pre-flight.
They literally scan your freaking eyeball. Like, I'm sorry, nobody's getting that part of me. Like,
No, I've got a dot card, and just putting my fingerprints down to get a dot card was like
What's a
not
dot card?
Department of Transportation.
Oh. Why did you have to get the...
I worked vaguely for my sister as a driver in her company.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, you told me
So it
about
was like
that.
a company vehicle or
Yeah.
something? Okay.
I when I was a younger man, got into a fight at a Six Flags. Not a physical fight, but I talked to the manager and stuff because they were requiring you to scan your thumbprint in order to access the park, and I had a season pass. I had already bought the season pass, and they were requiring thumbprint upon entry. And I'm going back to maybe 2009, somewhere in there, maybe earlier. So like biometrics weren't exactly as prevalent as they are today then. I actually argued with the manager, and basically they said, well, deal with it. And eventually they started letting me into the park, well, without it, because I would like, oh, it doesn't scan, like lick my finger or whatever, because I just didn't like it. I thought it was creepy. I didn't think it was right that you would have to force someone to do it and not have an alternative. Like, I'll show you my ID, I'll show you my government issued identification if that's what you want for me to get in the park, but for you to take biometric data as an amusement park seemed wrong.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is once again not legal advice. Your state's laws or applicable areas laws may be different, but police.
I was just
Well,
gonna
real
say
quick,
that.
real quick, before you get into that, class action lawsuit against this Six Flags about it.
Oh.
Heck yeah.
Like a decade and a half later, I get a letter, because I was a season pass holder in those years, to join a class action lawsuit, and I did. So like they've been paying me like $35 a year for like 4 years or something.
That's good
Get down,
stuff.
George.
But for real, like when I saw it, I'm like, you're kidding me, because I was the only one standing up that I saw about it.
Well,
Anyway, you were
Gavin
saying
convinced
police.
me not to do it on my phone because that was the only time I had ever tried it. And when I
Yeah.
was setting up my phone, it was like, oh, do this. I'm like, oh, that's so much easier. Well, then we started watching all of our crime shows and stuff. And even like OP Live, things like that we watch. The cops are so easy. He's like, on one of them today was like, I need your friend's information. We need to get into your phone. He literally put it up to her face and opened her phone, and she's not able to do anything.
And it's legal because it's physical evidence. Face ID, thumbprints, they are considered physical evidence, and there does not have to be a subpoena granted for them. However, if you have a passcode on your phone, it's
don't remember
intellectual
it.
property.
You can't get it out of my
And they
head.
have to subpoena you for it. Even if you know it, even if you say, I remember it and I will not give it to you, they can't do anything.
Well, I know I took it, or I'm taking it off my phone. I don't. I actually have, because I'm not good at stuff like that. But it's scary to think how fast they can get into your stuff.
If they
Legally.
aren't already backdoored. I mean, Apple's got... They've been proven to have, and I don't have any articles pulled up for this, but they've been proven to have backdoors for governmental agencies, and like your iCloud photos get individually scanned. Anything that gets
Oh, I've heard
uploaded to
about that.
iCloud gets scanned.
But then it's like they were scanning them for like
CSAM,
child
yeah.
and pictures or whatever. Well, like I have baby pictures of my kids in like the
Guy went to jail for it.
bathtub, and like there's one of my kids laying on her belly and her butt showing and stuff. I want to get prosecuted for pictures that I took of my children.
No, I'm going to pull
Okay,
up an
so-
article for that.
Outside of just law enforcement, from a just operational security standpoint, if you are ever molested in some way, anybody can take that physical evidence. It's not just the cops, because we're talking about it from a legal perspective when we talk about that. But say somebody drugged you at a bar and you fumbled out of the bar and passed out, guess what? Now I got your fingerprint and I can scan your phone, and now I have access to everything. So it goes a lot beyond just legal. I mean, the legal stuff's important, but
Well, and
It's
that's
not the
why
best
I don't
security.
do like those scan pay things where you can like pay with your phone. I don't link any of my stuff like that because it freaks me out. I don't want to pay for stuff with my phone. It's weird.
Rec said he's looking into getting a de-Googled phone. I think we talked about this before.
I think we did.
I always bring up Graphene OS, which is actually ironically run on specifically and developed for Pixel phones. But Graphene OS, like,
You're gonna have to take his phone.
oh man,
I got you. I'm not hooked up to wires. And
He's
I think
gonna
it containerizes
the
all the-
wires were hooked. Which one is it, green or red for my
Wait, what? What did you do?
In both times, headphones.
Yeah,
Weird.
headphones.
All right, yours.
Sorry, buddy. No bone.
Yeah, anyway, Graphene OS, I think they containerize the different applications so they can't necessarily talk to each other in it. And it's the only phone operating system that I've ever seen work at that level. Kind of like Docker instances or...
Oh man, do you guys remember Anom OS? It was an operating system. I'll see if I can find an article while I'm talking about it real quick. It was an operating system that was put out and designed so that drug dealers and like people that wanted to commit crimes could, I'm putting it in YouTube chat if you want to pull it up real quick, so that like people who wanted to commit crimes and be anonymous about it could go about doing it on a phone that was it had like a secret app inside of it that you could put a passcode in, and it opened up an entirely separate phone interface. So if the cops got your phone, like you had to go into the calculator and put a certain equation in or something. I think it was.
I always thought they had that for like, hidden things for like.
But it was an FBI. It was like a sting operation. It was released on a website, and all of the data that you used on this operating system went straight to the government.
So
It was a honeypot?
Yeah, it was a honeypot. Thank you.
Oh crap! They think they're gonna get away with everything. But...
Yeah,
Oh shit.
It's
crazy.
it's a wacky one.
that's
Oh my
pretty wild. So the whole
God.
thing was a honeypot, but it billed itself as almost like a dual operating system.
Where one was essentially Signal as an operating system, and the other one was just a
People
basic
that were
standard
caught
phone.
were part of the Australian-based Italian mafia.
That's wild.
I always thought it was for like hidden messages or something for like cheaters on those apps.
Well, there's that.
Well, they have
too.
those.
Okay.
Those are apps that are made, but this was designed specifically as like an extra operating system layer on top of your
It's awful.
regular one.
I hate these things. I hate all these hidden freaky apps and all.
I watched a video where a guy got a hold of one of those phones years after, and the whole thing, almost everything has been disabled, but like the phone app didn't work, like nothing on the phone worked, but the calculator to get into the hidden operating system and the messaging app in the hidden operating system, like nothing else on the phone worked. That's all it was.
Nothing good happens from those things. Like I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not real security. I mean, even phones that are like custom ROMs that have been de-Googled or Rek is saying in chat. But the thing is, like, existing without Google on the phone is nearly impossible when it comes to a number of applications key in to Google services.
Require it. And then you've got everything running through AWS anyway, so you have that to worry about too.
Well, and these applications on the phone they can cross-contaminate each other in terms of operational security. And that's where the whole containerized OS comes in with Graphene. But I've never run it because I've never had a Google Pixel. I've run custom ROMs and then used different Google, they call it like G Suite or G App packages that have been, they've had the fat cut out of them.
So this is a quick tangent. Did you guys ever hear about the Minions app? It was like a little Minions game or something back when those movies, like the Despicable Me movies
Yeah,
were
I
big.
mean, I know Minions.
I know the movie, but I
Okay,
don't know.
so there was an app, and on April 1st, I forget what year, they made an April Fool's update to the app, where when you dialed 911 on your phone and called it, it did not connect you to emergency services. Instead, it played the sound of a minion screaming at you.
Terrifying.
Was this is like an authorized app by like...
They got sued to high hell and back for it. It was funny.
I can't imagine why you would.
That's got to be one rogue
Dude.
developer, right?
It has to be.
Flashing phones is extremely hard.
I don't know. 911 being down is one of the scariest things I've ever. Because the night of the shooting that me and Emma were in, all 911 services were down. So all of us that were calling saying, hey, there's a live shoot, you couldn't get through. It was all down.
Yeah, Rex said flashing phones is extremely hard. Rob Braxton, I don't know who that is. Anyway, So flashing custom ROMs on phones, your best resource is something like XDA Dev, the forum, host a number of custom ROMs and bootloaders and stuff like that. I've done it on a number of phones.
Yeah, we have a couple that are like...
Didn't we do it on your phone, Chance?
Yeah,
One day when
actually,
you were over here?
every time my phone turns on, it warns me. It goes, "This phone is unsecure."
Yes. That's because we unlocked that bootloader. Motorola allows you to unlock bootloaders, but you have to get a key from them.
Actually, we haven't done it on this phone. It was on my older one, so it's something I
Yeah.
need to do on this
No,
one.
I haven't done it on my current phone either, and that's mainly because I haven't seen any of the major custom ROMs
I wonder if you
put out
can
an
do it on
official
my
release.
1-inch phone.
Your 1-inch phone is already something else. That thing's got like Android 8 on it.
I'm so
want it so bad.
excited. I
want
love
one
it.
so bad.
So I don't know if Rex still with us, but do you guys want to get to this tip he gave us? What this potential source of the Miami alien?
Oh, yeah, let's
Of
dig in.
course.
Okay, because I feel like we're getting a little off the rails. Not bad,
That
but
happens. Sorry.
no, it's good. It's good. I mean, like I feel like this stuff's applicable. So, so Rex sent this to us, and it seems like it may have been one of the, or if not the first source of the whole alien. How do I want to put this? The alien hypothesis about the Miami incident at the mall.
The hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
That's how I remembered how to spell it. We had a spelling test one time.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's
that's
how
what
I
it is,
literally
yeah.
remembered how.
Don't worry,
That's how you do it.
I have to spell Wednesday by going Wednesday in my head every single time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yep.
Thank you, Bruce Almighty.
Honestly, though, he saved an entire generation from that word.
I am also stupid, so
Oh,
I can relate.
Gotta put some headphones
We
on.
gotta turn off the music real fast.
No.
My headphones kind of weird.
Oh, you're not gonna hear it then. That's what I was saying about the headphones. Because the music, if the music is loud, this is gonna be crazy loud for you.
Okay.
Maybe does Chance have another headphone on
Yes.
his? Can you guys share an earbud?
Oh, sorry.
Man, she got a big
Okay.
diamond on that ring.
So, just to set this up real quick, for in case we turn it into a segment here, because we haven't seen this yet. Jacqueline and Chance are sharing an earbud because Jacqueline ran hers over, and
Those
this is
eyebrows are wild. Is she the alien?
They're definitely microbladed.
He's gotta look.
or off-grade.
Okay, you're ruining my setup.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not.
So, this is a video that is apparently the source of the Miami alien hypothesis at the mall. And it might be, our buddy Rec in chat sent this to us. It might be the first real proposal of it, I think. No, we haven't watched it. We kind of saved it for now. So you're going to see our...
Live reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So let's check this out. The Miami alien hypothesis origin ?
I honestly cannot believe the words that are about to come out of my
No
mouth.
audio.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
silly me before
None
we
at
get
all?
started.
Hold on, let me
Guys,
check
Tiki
my
Talk,
plug
this is
right.
purely for entertainment
Oh.
purposes only. We're just goofing around.
Okay.
I have audio.
Green is audio. Red is microphone.
All right. That's what I said.
No.
I said red microphone.
You said green's microphone.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know it's recorded.
All right,
so-
run it back.
Okay. I don't know where those freaking earbuds are.
Well, now they're both plugged into the same splitter.
What are you doing over there? Is this gonna work? Let's try to take this again, shall we?
One more again.
Oh my god, my cursor too. Chance, set this up for us, please.
Miami alien hypothesis. Take 5.
Yes. Is this the origin of the Miami alien internet meme?
Meme.
I honestly cannot believe the words that are about to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
silly
cut
me
the music.
before we get started. Guys, Tiki Talk, this is purely for entertainment purposes only. We're just goofing around. All things stated here are purely speculation. Just having fun. You are going to want to see this because there is a very good chance, at least for the next few days, you will not see this anywhere else but right here. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure what part of this story bugs me most. The fact that we actually now live in a world where something like this could happen. The fact that we actually live in a world where something like this could happen, but at this point, none of us will even be shocked. Or the fact that something like this could happen in our world, and not a single news media has broke this story, not at all. In fact, if you Google search it, it is quite a difficult find, which is all that much more suspicious with a story of this kind of size, this magnitude. And yet, here we are. Hang on to your britches, it's gonna get real. A couple of days
And
in
her setup
Miami,
was as long
Florida,
as
at a mall,
ours.
the local police were dispatched to
Jeez.
the mall for an argument, a fight that broke out between juveniles. Juveniles, they say, had sticks and fireworks. Oh my. But ultimately the call, what they claim was the call, the reason for the police officers to arrive at the scene, was due to a fight that had broken out between juveniles who had sticks and fireworks.
Okay. She's reiterated it twice. Sticks and fireworks. Like, that's no big deal. Fireworks, firecrackers, when people report firecrackers and they call the cops, if I'm a cop, I assume that's gunshots.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, when we talk about the JFK conspiracy, many people reported you always hear somebody in the middle of a shooting, the first thing you hear out of their mouths is, I thought somebody was setting off firecrackers.
Oh yeah, and I mean a 22, like you get a 22, it's just pop, 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 pop. Fly it anyway.
Right. Yeah. So that's not a fair assessment.
But Auntie, why do you care if that's on the news? That isn't a big deal. No, my friend, no, it's not. It is definitely not that big of a deal. I agree with you, and it is definitely, hands down, not a big enough deal for the local Miami Police Department to show up on the scene just like this. Right? That seems like a lot of officers to show up, but my friends, that is not anywhere near all that came. And once you understand and you hear the eyewitnesses' stories, I believe you will at that point understand a little bit better as to why so many police officers, probably 100, along with choppers, black choppers from the PD, patrolling the scene from above. And according to witnesses, eyewitnesses there, the Miami police was not dispatched there for a juvenile fight. And the obvious need for such an enormous police presence was far more sinister than what we've been told. As multiple witnesses claimed to have seen...
Talk about burying the lead.
Say this. Creatures that stood 8 to 10 feet tall, walking
So she
outside
talks like
and
this
even
is
inside of the
potentially
mall. And the pew-pews that were reported...
one of the
and
first
even the pew-pews you might hear in some of the videos...
internet
had
sources
nothing
of
to do with
this
the juvenile
alien
fight.
theory.
According to these witnesses, it was actually the mall-goers shooting to protect themselves from these 8 to 10 foot tall creatures in self-defense.
This is an angle we haven't seen before.
No.
Yeah, no, that's why I came right here.
I was like, they said, what did you hear? Gunshots, right? So there's the figure
But wait,
walking.
it gets better. Along with the ridiculously high
I'd
number
shoot
of
at the
police
aliens,
officers
too.
that arrived on the scene and the helicopter flying above. Apparently, after this incident was phoned into the police, the black PD helicopters were the only things flying that night in the Miami sky. As the Miami airport was shut down, still no flights going or coming at Miami International, only one PD helicopter patrolling the area. The absolute
That's
lack of this
interesting.
story
Why would-
anywhere is absolutely driving me mad. On my Google search, I found nothing. I found crickets. Ironic. Even my ex, not my ex, even X let me down. Well, my ex let me down too, but that's a whole nother story. As when I searched on X, this is what I found. No results for people shooting at Miami Mall, 8 to 9 feet tall creatures. Okay, valid. Let's remove the obvious. Do another search without the 8 to 9 foot tall creatures. Well, now that's suspicious. Still no results for Miami Mall shooting January 2024. Now that's very suspicious. Because judging by the size of the police presence, the helicopter, but wait, there's more. You would think even X would have one post about it, but nothing. Thank goodness for social media, though, because where would we be in situations like this when the media chooses not to report if we didn't have incredible people going to social media to post details about it themselves? Can someone confirm they've cut the police scanner? Check flight tracker, doesn't look like any flights leaving or coming into MIA. You can see the helicopter.
Can someone confirm they've cut the police scanner? What?
I think she means like they've they've stopped traffic being. They probably went encrypted or something where you couldn't hear the traffic anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and that's possible, but we had all of that police scanner, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I'm kind of interested, but also kind of not, because I think there's nothing here personally.
Oh, I think there's something there. Why would you close down an entire airport if there wasn't something bigger than a fight with fireworks?
Yeah, maybe not 8 to 10 foot tall aliens, but there's
There's
something.
something else that happened
Well,
that would have shut down the airport.
Number one, I don't know who Nolan Nurse is, or if they listen to police scanners, or if they were listening to an online thing, but they've cut the police scanner. That's okay. Number one, the police don't use police scanners. A scan, or like a radio frequency scanner, scans frequencies. Some of them are police frequencies, or they can all be police frequencies, depending on how it's configured, right?
I think she's just like mis-talking some terminology. I think we have to look at like context here, and they've probably just cut traffic. Like there's no
Yeah.
more traffic on the
I
scanner.
feel like that's probably the way I would have said it because I don't know that term.
But that's not unusual, though. Like, okay, whatever. I don't know. It was probably, I just don't think this person is informed as to how that works, because it doesn't sound like they ever cut traffic or halted traffic on the radios that night. It sounded like there was like 8 hours of solid chatter from various departments.
Or the video we have is just someone going into 11 labs and making an AI generated police traffic.
That'd be interesting, but I don't think so. I'd have to listen to it, because AI generated police traffic, that would be, I mean, there's like a particular way officers talk. I don't know about that.
We should play Chicago police scanner bingo one of these nights. It's good stuff.
I'm glad there's other footage because only seen that angle.
Repeated
So
over
there
and
are
over.
other people.
This headphone thing is not working with that mic. Okay. As we
Was it
fall
because
apart.
I'm leaning over?
Yeah, it's because
Sorry.
you're away from the mic, and I gotta find where those stupid earbuds went.
I will
Trying to see
figure
if
it
I can
out.
get
It's
these
literally why we
images.
started late. I know they're
Oh,
here.
those aren't
Like, they
even
have
plugged
to
in.
be.
Oh, these ones are?
Technical difficulties. Yeah, we do need a technical difficulty animation just for funsies.
See if I can whip something up. I gotta get in and change our. This
But
is
yeah.
back show talk, but I gotta get in and change our
Dude, at some point in
Socials.
this show, where I
Animation.
put those spare headphones are gonna click.
They're
for
just
So
me.
gonna
even Rex
fall
said
from
it's
the ceiling.
interesting that even she said there was like no footage put out there at all.
The flight tracking thing. I don't know if I believe that either. Like, what? Like, are you
I
serious?
saw
They
a lot
grounded
of
flights?
people saying that. I don't know necessarily what its veracity is, but I've seen that coming from a lot of different independent
Would
they
it be easy to look
sources.
up like Miami flights for January 1st?
Yeah.
Like if they had been canceled or
I'll
not?
see.
So last
Pull up a
episode,
flight tracker while we listen to this and see what I can find.
we watched, I think it was the chief of police or some spokesman for the police talking, and he was talking about how these kids do this every year around this time. Like, this is a known thing that's going to happen. So I feel like if that's true, and I'm taking it on its face that it is, which might be a mistake, but if that's true, that's a very reasonable position to take. Okay, well, that's why they wanted to show a force, because they want to show these kids who do this every year, you can't be doing this. I don't know. All right, let's play it.
Helicopter doing loops. Yes, they cut the scanners. Multiple people claimed they saw 8 to 10 foot tall aliens or very tall zombies, and it caused shoppers panic.
Yeah, your headphone's broken. Did you try the purple ones? You got it plugged into the green one? Will you help her, Chance? Those headphones have been run over. Run over by those chairs so many times.
Yes, they cut the scanners. Multiple people claimed they saw.
Try me again.
Hang on. Sorry if I just blasted anyone who is listening. That so bothers me. I had a bunch of spare stuff for the show, and I just don't know where it went.
Just can't believe I did it like 50 seconds before we were about to start.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't think it was going to derail us like this, but anyway. Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
I'll resume it.
The tracker doesn't look like any flights leaving or coming into MIA. You can see the helicopter doing loops. Yes, they cut the scanners. Multiple people claim they saw 8 to 10 foot tall aliens or very tall zombies, and it caused shoppers panic. There are now black helicopters
cut
flying
the
and everything
scanners.
is blocked off. Power has also been cut in a few blocks and at the mall. So you're going to tell me that the police literally cut the public's access to the police scanners? All because some...
That's not a thing. Okay, this is starting to bother me.
Well, if they go encrypted, you're not going to be able to hear them, and I think
Yeah,
that's
but
what's...
she doesn't know what she's talking about, and I doubt the people who...
But if you're
tweeted that.
listening to a scanner and suddenly everything just disappears because they jumped on encrypted, that's what it's going to seem like to them.
No,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying?
A lot of people wouldn't realize, okay, they went encrypted.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to trust someone who says they cut the scanners over they halted traffic or they went radio silent? Because I don't know that how are you even operating a scanner if that's the terminology you're using?
I mean, you can go online and look up like Miami police scanner. And
Yes, and I
find
think that's what it is they were
Yeah.
listening to an online source, and those online sources are sketchy anyway. So like, what I'm trying to say is I don't think the people who are tweeting that are not subject matter experts when it comes to listening to police radio.
No, but that's why we just have to look at context instead of exactly what they're saying here.
Sure,
you know?
and I understand that, but those online scanners that you listen to are iffy anyway. Number
Oh, no
one,
doubt.
most people who do like police scanning, they don't rebroadcast that stuff online. It's kind of like an unwritten rule of operating a police scanner that you don't make that stuff public because there could be some dangers to that. And also, if you're a person who wants to have an ear on what the police are doing, you probably don't want them, as you say, going encrypted or going to like cell phone communications and being forced off of open radio signals so that your scanner doesn't work anymore. Because they could move to a method of communication that cuts you out of the loop, and the whole point of the hobby is so that you can listen to them, right? So the people who do upload like a stream from their police scanner aren't your typical radio enthusiast, is what I'm saying. So the sites that you might listen to, say the Miami Police on, where somebody's uploading an audio stream from their scanner, that person is kind of shady and those sites are kind of shady, and I don't think they work reliably anyway.
Possibly. I understand where they're coming from though, and I'm gonna take it to mean that they went encrypted. I think that's just the easiest way for me to
No,
see
but
this.
there's not most of these. Maybe they went to like an encrypted talk group. That's possible. What I think's more likely is whoever was running the police scanner just stopped running it. They stopped uploading their stream. You know?
Possibly, but those streams, I've listened to a few of those. They pretty much run 24/7. They're set up like repeaters almost, wherein that they just sit there and run without human intervention for the most part.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom, you guys. Right back.
I don't know, because I've seen a couple of those sites that will run police scanners, and they're unreliable at best. They're like, particularly like you go into your phone and there's the police scanner apps that you can download, which somebody has to operate a physical police scanner to grab that signal out of the air and stream it through the app. And that person is probably just some dude doing it, and all they have to do is have their battery die or unplug it. I feel like it could be as simple as this, Chance. You could be running an audio output from your scanner into a police scanning app, right?
Mhm.
Or a website. And all these other people are listening to the Miami feed. You learn that something crazy is going down in town. Now, when you're plugged into the aux port on your scanner, and that's plugged into your computer, and you're uploading that stream, you can't hear your scanner's built-in speaker. It could be as simple as, hey, the person who was running the scanner was aware something crazy was going on, and they wanted to hear it, and they said, forget the rest of the world, and unplugged the aux cable so that they could hear their scanner's built-in speaker.
Why wouldn't they just go to their own site that they're streaming to and listen to the stream?
I don't know. I mean, like, that's a possibility, but I'm just saying that could also be the case.
It could indeed, but it seems more. I don't know. I think that it dropping off makes sense. In the fact that like I think With that big of a presence, I don't think they would be communicating over open. They don't want people to know what's going on. That's a
Well,
little.
to begin with, when there's that big of a presence, you can't all communicate on the same frequency. It would be a coordinated if you wanted to communicate to everybody else in the group, it would be a coordinated effort to get off of that channel and onto an encrypted talk group or something. I don't buy that. I'm sorry.
I see some credence in it.
I
I'm just
yes,
that's just
when serious stuff goes down, law enforcement will switch to encrypted talk groups. That is true. But to have every single cop switch to an encrypted talk group, that's unreasonable. You would still be hearing some audio with that many cops. There would still be a lot of radio traffic that was unencrypted. They wouldn't just cut the scanners, as she put it. More than likely, the website cut the scanners.
possibly, but at any rate, to switch topics tangentially here real quick, I've been looking at flight maps and I cannot find a single place that will allow me to view previous flight maps. Like, you have to watch them in real time or you don't get to see it. So there is no way that I can find to confirm whether or not the
Somebody's
flights have
got to
been
have
stopped.
archival data.
Well,
of
that's
that somewhere.
sure. There's probably someone that has it out there, but then we have to call into question the veracity of that archival data since we can't confirm it in real time. Is that a manipulated piece of data or not?
Well, and that's what I wanted to do with the police scanners is somebody uploaded their personal recordings from the police scanner, whether that was through some sort of app or their personal scanner recordings. And, you could call into question the veracity of, like you said, is it an AI generated 8 hours long of police scanning? I feel like that's pretty tough to accomplish.
Hey, ChatGPT, write me a 100-page script that is police traffic for this incident here.
Okay, let's finish the video and then we'll keep arguing and open up calls.
Juveniles are fighting with sticks? Okay. And they're going to cut the power, not only to surrounding areas, but also the power to the mall itself. So much so that 61,290 homes are without power at that time. On Reddit, we found anyone following what happened in Miami last night, apparently mass sighting of 7 to 10 foot tall creatures. Flights halted, police radio cut off, and helicopters patrolling. So are you really telling me that they're praying that we are all going to just believe this? Miami police, a large fight broke out involving several juveniles, some of whom may have been armed with some kind of sticks. Police are still continuing their investigation at this time.
Yeah.
You know who else is doing their investigation at this time? Me and the rest of the world. You cannot be serious when you tell me you're going to cut the power to the mall and multiple homes in Miami, shut down a whole airport, no planes in and no planes out, have hundreds of police officers storming the mall, rushing to the scene, and black PD helicopters scouring and patrolling the area from above. All simply because of a juvenile fight where some of the juveniles were armed with some kind of sticks. No, sir, I kindly reject this. I do not believe this at all. So guys, I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Because to you, does this look like the type of police presence that would ever be warranted or required for a fight between juveniles with sticks?
It was more than that, though.
It was a riot, essentially.
Yes, it was a riot. Flash mob riot, whatever you want to call it.
What did you hear?
Gunshots.
Oh, that's what that was? I didn't hear that. I just heard screaming.
Yeah, no, that's why I came running. I heard
This looks like not even drone footage. This looks like someone holding a cell phone off like a penthouse apartment.
Keep your hook spotlights on whatever's walking by.
Well, I think whatever's walking by was... Yeah, we looked at the video.
Yeah, that was people.
It was a group of people. It's really a stretch to say it was anything but.
Because of all of that fanfare, that police presence was really over juveniles fighting with sticks, and I was a Miami citizen, I would be demanding my taxpayer dollar back. Something much larger, much bigger, far more giant and sinister happened there that night in Miami at that mall. And just like the witnesses all stated, it wasn't kids with sticks. That looks way more like the
I
response.
like that I can see
to
her
the
ring
threat
light
of 8 to
clearly
10
in the
feet tall
reflection of her
creatures,
glasses.
I've been thinking
aliens
about
or
this whole
zombies
video.
Or Nephilim.
About
And
her?
mall
The ring
goers
light,
having to
yeah.
respond by
That and,
pew-pewing
she has no
to
facial
defend and to
expression.
protect themselves.
At all.
But
Maybe
that's
she's
just
the
me.
alien.
What do you think?
She
Face
kind of
doesn't-
looks like an
I'm here
alien.
to tell you, God told us that in the days
Ah,
when
that's
Jesus will
mean.
come
I don't
back,
know.
it will be just like the days of Noah. But I think a lot of people are misinterpreting that scripture or overlooking one massive detail, one big detail.
Aliens.
A giant detail. When it comes to the days of Noah, sure, they were eating and drinking and marrying and sinning and fornication. But hasn't man been sinning that way, well, since the beginning of sin? The
What does
one
her
thing that
shirt
was different
say?
about the days of Noah, different from all of the regular days filled with sin of man, there were giants in those days.
It's
And
mirrored.
according to the
A wee
Bible,
nad face.
and there were giants after. There were giants even after
I,
the
but the
Genesis
eyes upside
flood.
down. That might
So when
be.
the Bible tells us when Jesus returns it will be just like the days of
Oh,
Noah,
she's going
I
into
think, my
some-
friends, that is a warning to all of us that when we are in the end
there.
of days, there will be giants. And perhaps that is exactly what they saw that night in the mall. The 8 to 10
Nephilim
foot
are back,
creatures.
The
everyone.
Perhaps they, my
Nephilim.
friends, were the Nephilim.
The Anunnaki have come down
Ah, I like
from
how
the
we said it
stars.
before she did.
Yeah, I can't get over the fact that her face does.
Botox is a hell of a drug.
Should we just open up calls while
Yeah.
we're gonna argue?
I do think it was more than what they're saying.
I think it's possible that it was more than what they're saying. I
I'm
definitely
sorry,
don't see.
I've lived in places where fights broke out and stuff like that, even gunshots at the mall, and I've never seen a police presence like that.
I
Ever.
haven't seen one like that live. No. I mean, that's wacky. I mean,
And the fact
we
that you
see
couldn't find it anywhere.
we see less presence for the actual riots where they're burning buildings
Right.
down.
I call him. The veracity of her claims are questionable.
Well, yeah, I think she might be a little, but I don't think that, she's wrong on the fact that there is something larger.
No, it's interesting, and it warrants further investigation. 100%.
I'm kind of wondering where she got this other footage because we went looking for it and we couldn't. Oh,
I'm pulling up that guy's name right now.
Okay, because I'm like, we couldn't find anybody else's footage last week when we were trying to look.
Yeah.
I just didn't do a whole lot of.
You were picking.
I need to scoot up more.
Yeah. No, that would be my impression of that. That when they're saying they cut the scanners, well, yeah, I don't know. Your stream to somebody's radio went down. I don't know why that is, but
The guy's account, the disclosure guy, his account looks kind of like Weekly World News and TMZ had a baby. Just to give you guys an example of what kind of stuff we're seeing on that.
They're probably not legit.
I wouldn't trust it too much.
TMZ is kind of obnoxious.
So if you do want to give us a ring, 857-323-3425. That's 857-32D dial. We're going to leave the lines open for a little bit while we argue about kind of this crazy video. I'm not saying it's crazy to call in to question the official narrative of
What
this.
is her actual TikTok? What?
Let me look it up real quick.
Well, that's what I was going to start to do here.
'Cause I don't do the whole TikTok thing, but I'm wondering what hers looks like.
Well, that looks like Twitter, not TikTok.
No, that's TikTok.
Oh, I thought it was.
That's TikTok?
Yeah,
Yeah.
see the little bottom.
Well, no,
thing?
hers,
yeah,
like
but-
the old lady talking here.
Yes. No, I mean, the screenshot here, though, is...
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Um,
And you said it was from Twitter?
it's very religious.
Go figure.
The night I captured an angel on camera.
Okay.
Video
Oh.
proof of a flesh stepper, and my own account of seeing one.
Right, so she might be a little nutty.
Y'all, God just showed me I drew one of the two witnesses in Revelation back in 2001. Hold on, apparently
2001, I was in 6th grade.
she's got a video about The Simpsons predicting the Miami Mall aliens. You want
Now
me to send
that
you a
I
link
would
to
like
that?
to see because they've predicted a ton.
So Nola Nurse here, who I looked up her Twitter, who insists that they cut the police scan. Out of curiosity, and one of the first posts is a picture of U.S. patents for various viruses, including H1N1, Ebola, swine flu, BSE, Zika, SARS, coronavirus. So, and the picture is covered. I'm not going to show it out of respect for the person's privacy.
The
but
Rockefeller Foundation.
it's covered with the all-seeing eye all over the place. So, talking some pretty deep. We're conspiracy theorists here on this show.
course.
That's what this is. But we're talking about some people who are into some deep conspiracies. It looks like.
Hey, I still eventually want to go into the people with, hybrid alien human babies.
Chancey, you sent me the link to the police scanner thing. How did you send that last week?
It was either Signal or on the YouTube chat, both of which.
Was it on
can be
Discord?
pulled.
'Cause I think it was
Discord.
before
Yeah,
the
you're
show.
right. You're
Okay.
right. You're right.
Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can find this link. So maybe we can just listen to just a little bit of it.
You're gonna have to just tell me when to put the headphone in because I can't listen to them. A little too loud on these particular ones.
It's a little too loud on stream too.
Yeah, she's got a video saying we have proof of the 8 to 10 foot tall Nephilim at the Miami Mall, and it was that same video that we've seen of the 3 people walking next to each other, except it looked downscaled to like 144p.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing is these rumors come out, and you don't have the source photography. What you have is something that's been encoded over and over and over and over.
When we're seeing people with a light going towards them and the shadows coming up behind them.
Yeah.
Like I have a picture in front of the arch in St. Louis, and it's like a silhouette picture, but I look like, I'm 6 to 10 feet tall, and I'm 5'2". So, we could just be seeing like, a weird, I don't know.
Video
what it's called.
artifact?
Yeah, that you can't really, there's not a whole lot of detail.
I think it was Project Bluebeam hallucinatory technology, and there were people that saw something there. It's just they weren't able to record it on video because they were the ones that could see it. It wasn't actually there.
Okay, so here was the video of a parent Miami. No, it's not really a video, but it's Miami police scanner.
4485, you just want to go back.
Yes, good friends. Continue to center.
4121.
So you were talking about AI generating like a script for it or something, but the thing is there's a sound to radio, and you know this.
But
And
you can, if you take the... Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off there. If you want to finish, you can there.
No, you're okay. I was just going to say, even the digital stuff, there's a particular sound to the way it breaks down when the signal's not perfect.
If you train the AI on data that has that sound going on in the background, it will use that sound in its created data.
Yeah, okay, but I don't know. I'm not willing to leap to, well, this is fake because it's possible potentially to make something that sounds
And I'm not necessarily leaping to that either. I'm just saying, like, as a possibility, the technology is there now to be able to do something like this and fake it.
I don't think it would be perfect, though. I don't think
Probably
it would
not,
be perfect.
but it would be very easy to hide inaccuracies in an 8-hour-long video.
Yeah.
If you can, start us one more unit. Crisis, please.
Oh, they got a Miracle Mile in Miami,
Okay,
too.
we'll have the alien meet you at crisis.
So it looks like here they actually stream different channels
4221, show you 15 with units at crisis.
on YouTube.
1557, 4221.
Now, it's also possible that when it was cut, that the scanner operator, like let's say it's this channel on YouTube that runs these scanners live, felt the responsibility to cut it because they thought there was something tactical, that it might put the police at a tactical disadvantage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Making it that level of public. Now, I got to tell you, the talk group here sounds pretty inaudible. They don't sound great.
Oh, they don't.
When a lot of this is dead air, but that's normal, like you're not transmitting on the radio the entire time.
1550 alright.
One without being in front of whatever. Is this scanner paused on this frequency, or is it scanning various talk groups or various frequencies or various repeater sites? So you don't know. You might hear somebody, and the next transmission might be on a completely different frequency. And they might not be talking to each other. Anyway. Yeah, my feeling is when people tuned into it.
Oh, they've got a clock down there. Sorry, do we know what time this all went down at?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know exactly. Let's forward on-screen time code for initial call out 2026.
Sometime around 8.
00
Let me pause it just for a second. What I would
You're about 20 seconds behind, so that's
okay. Yeah, whatever. Let's just play. If you're listening to a police scanner and you normally don't, and you just think something big's going down, so you Google police scanner and you download the app or some random one, or you find one on YouTube and you're listening and you hear like a break in transmission, you could think that is they cut frequencies. You know what I mean? You're an untrained ear when it comes to radio.
it does go silent.
Yeah. All the time. And yeah, when it goes silent, the squelch on the radio will close, which means you won't just hear static in the background, the hiss of, the EMF spectrum.
Understand 8. Just check with the supervisor, see how they want to handle it. If not, they should be curious.
It's not my reference, I got a 3 at basis. 422, show you clear shooting at 332 Foxtrot, 4424, 315. So we have 401 Biscayne at base out of Margaritaville. It's a large group of people fighting, and they're advising rescues en route. Also, security unable to hold the crowd. A knife was seen at 2027, 4422.
So that presumably was one of the initial calls.
Base out of Margaritaville, large group fighting. Security unable to hold the crowd, and a knife was seen. And give 7 additional unit correspond.
4425, show me a road. They're going to contact this block if they get out apartment.
Yes, I'll see you.
4522, show me a route.
Yes, I'll touch you.
4426, show me a route.
Show me, by the way, for people that don't know what that means, is them saying they are about to perform that action. So if they say, like, show me en route.
Yeah. But dispatch keeps a record of where everybody is and what's happening.
4425, did they say who had the knife?
They just said a knife was seen, but they didn't give a description of a subject.
So I think one of the mistakes is that everybody's assuming that this was one fight or one event, and it sounds like this was more of a, hey, this group of teens descends on this area of Main Street and takes over and goes crazy. So they might be at Margaritaville, as they're saying, which Jimmy Buffett would cry. And they also might be down the street at the mall, and they might be across the street at the Caribou Coffee, if they still exist. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Is like they were probably all over the town, and that's what we had seen before.
You show me about the first. Yes, I search.
26 arriving.
So coming from my background, I'll tell you right now, the scanner doesn't sound like it has a great antenna. It sounds like the digital signal, because this is probably, it sounds like a P25 Motorola signal. Probably a digital talk group, which is kind of like a repeater.
Units arriving on the 3, they're rising. It was a large crowd of 20 or more juveniles fighting with sticks, and a blade was seen, and they're now pushing each other towards the water. No description on the person with the blade. Units QH.
Sounds like chaos.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear if there's other crazy calls that come in.
Well, they had said that there was another fight like over a mile away from the mall.
4426, they're advising that they move the crowd towards Bayfront Park by the water. See if they on through Intercontinental.
That's good, so.
when we may only be
4425
listening
and
to
4424, show your response
the
to
county
Intercontinental
cops and not the local
4426.
cops, and the
Request
local cops could
445.
be handling a different situation. Sorry, I'm talking over it, but yeah, not to get into what all
4422 or 4424.
24, that's beautiful. We're rerouting to the area.
Yes, on East Street at Bayfront Park now. They're advising the group is around 20 juveniles, armed with sticks and one with a blade.
Sticks
Showing
and a
towards the
blade.
water, East Street.
Yeah, I haven't heard fireworks yet, though, either.
You said by Intercontinental?
Okay, so you requested for to respond to Intercontinental.
Anyway, so when I say it's digital, that means like if you were to tune into it on a regular radio, you would just hear data. It wouldn't sound like voices. It's encoded, just like, our voices are right now in ones and zeros. So a common way to do that is Motorola P25. But to me, it sounds like a degraded signal, which means this radio that's actually picking this up is either very far away from the source or doesn't have a particularly good antenna or line of sight to the repeater site. So when a police officer keys up, their voice will go to a repeater
4520.
that is in a much better position than their car. And then that'll go out across the area.
Can we slow them down?
What were they saying when they were saying
Sure, 4424?
intercontinental or?
I think they were just describing the locations
Yeah.
Okay,
that they were
I couldn't-
moving.
So units are still around.
I can't always hear that.
They turn out at Bayfront Park. But the large group is by the water. East Street.
But it's like that's dispatch talking, it sounds like. And his voice isn't even coming across very clear, which makes me think that they have somewhat of a degraded signal. If your radio or if your antenna was better, I think you would that voice would be more clear. I could be wrong, but that's been my experience with digital frequencies anyway, or digital transmissions.
Yeah.
Is that they're somewhat forgiving when it comes to your signal. It's not all or nothing, because frequently when it comes to a digital transmission, like even over-the-air television, it's kind of all or nothing. You're either getting enough signal to have something, or
4452.
you can't just have a staticky signal. It gets all glitchy.
Every day in the middle of Bayfront Park, almost by the fountain.
But these audio transmissions, I think, are
That's
designed
good.
to be a little bit more forgiving.
4425
You can drop
and
some bits and
4426,
bytes.
With the unit at the middle of the park by the fountain at 2032. 4425.
24, we're arrival in the area.
If I'm wrong about this,
East
somebody
Street
let
at the
me
middle
know.
of the park by the fountain. East Street.
Yeah, 26, all units are arriving. Stand by.
You can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Mhm.
hear how many sirens are blaring
Uh-huh.
in the
Yeah,
background.
just wait, we're gonna get a few more units.
But some of this is
Ow.
okay.
Mhm.
4523 and 454.
That happens.
So you're responding to the middle of the park by the fountain and requesting more units. 4523. 20 reference. Just okay.
All units do not approach. Just hang back on the boulevard, and I guess it's Boulevard and Flagler where the fountain is. And we'll approach. We'll form a line. We'll go over there. Everybody hang out on the boulevard. We'll go together.
Radio 072. Radio 072 with the emergency.
Heading towards Biscayne.
207. 44.
Running.
You're cutting out. You're revising a large crowd, and you're cutting out. 207.
Give them, Miami. They're all running towards Biscayne.
That's just so. 4520. You're saying the crowd is running towards Biscayne. All units secure exit Biscayne and Flagler to your left.
So it
All
sounds
right,
like
let them run. Everybody hang back. We'll all go together. Let them run. Let them clear out.
I need an arrival on the 3 per 4520. Stand back, clear exit Biscayne and Flagler, and let them run. And we're all going to respond together. All units for 4520, clear exit Biscayne and Flagler.
it sounds like this is very specifically
That
the
green area up there.
the
43
green
just
area.
verifying you read.
This is Miami, Florida Central District.
QSL monitor. That's yes, sir. And you straight in Biscayne and Flagler and clear exit Biscayne and Flagler. So 4520's arrival.
Right.
20, I'm arriving. I see all the units. Have them come over here, Boulevard and Flagler.
That's good, sir. That's
This
good. I'll show you
area.
arrival and command at 2034. Then all units contact 4520 at Biscayne and Flagler. Move your vehicles to Biscayne and Flagler. Or 26.
I don't know though. See, listening to this
4424.
doesn't make me think it was what we saw in the videos, you know?
Oh,
This is not enough
All
chaos.
units responding at Biscayne and Flagler. Units QH.
This ain't enough chaos to explain that. Now, if you look, see how it says 1/1/24? So they had said kids do this on New Year's every year. It's like every New
4520,
Year's.
let me know if you need more
Last episode, we watched
Yeah, all right.
somebody speaking for the police department, and they said these kids do this every New Year's, and it's a problem. And we were like, wait, this was New Year's that this happened? Because it seemed like fresh news.
yeah.
It was just coming up on like Facebook and this and that last week. So
Yeah,
it
exactly,
wasn't,
and that's-
like immediately
When that's what
reported.
that video, she was saying, like, why is this being so underreported? And now it's finally seems to have exploded and is being reported. And that's why it looked like that video was kind of on the cutting edge of it, if not the origin of it online. I'd want to hear other frequencies. This is not enough to explain to me.
Like this is almost like a prior event that they moved
All
to
right,
this
4520.
date.
Just FYI, we're all going to go to the South Service Road on Bayside in the water. Everyone's going to go in a line nice and tight, and we'll go over there and see the juveniles go over there, and we'll be over there. So just move our QT to there.
This is not enough
Units will be
to
around to
explain.
the South Service Road near the water. Units QH.
Yeah, I feel like I've listened. I got into radio scanning and radios as a kid, and I've been listening to police scanners my whole life. And I feel like I'm experienced enough to tell you that what I saw in those videos doesn't match the response that I'm hearing on this radio. There's nowhere near enough traffic.
Juvenile 0 on Biscayne, walking southbound.
Well,
I would-
even when we're
Yeah, just
listening to the police chases here,
Uh-huh.
you can hear
I just care about
the
large group. I don't care about
commotion, the
big group, just a large group.
anxiety.
Let's clear them
Yes.
out of Bayside.
That's what I'm saying, is this isn't
Gotcha.
enough to
4520
explain
let's
that level of
emphasize
police
the larger
response.
groups
So,
clear them out of Bayside.
and
Units
I don't know
QH.
that I was expecting that when we went into this, because I was saying, what do you mean they cut the scanners, yada, yada. This isn't enough happening, at least on this frequency or on this talk group. Nowhere near enough traffic.
Because even like when we're hearing, some of the chases, they'll be like, hey, they're going 115 miles an hour and da da da. And I mean, when they're about to throw
They're
the, strips out and this and that, they're going, I mean, you can hear it in the voices. This seems like
they're
okay.
exasperated.
Yeah,
you know?
this is like,
Let me
okay, well,
advise,
let's
if
just
any of
push
you
them off
see
to
one
the
of the
lake.
security guards
or
from
river.
Bayside, just get a hold of them, see if they went back in the Bayside.
I think what we're hearing is
So,
one
any that
small
make
part
contact
of a
with
larger
Bayside,
riot.
if they want to make contact.
That has to explain it.
4223, Street 344, 4225, 315, Northwest 2126, Northwest 2126.
We can
At the
cut this off at
Capitol
any
Building,
time,
second floor.
guys.
I think we've pretty much heard.
Okay.
I just don't feel like it's the same event.
I'm glad that we pulled it up, because I have more questions in my head now.
Where's all the traffic from the hundreds of officers that we saw?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not hearing people talking over each other and trying to figure out what's
And like
going
complete
on?
chaos, and you could normally hear fear or whatever in their voices, and there's nothing.
Well, and how many officers were there? There was an estimate on that, right?
Well, they said there was like 100 cars, but each car had like almost 2 people in it, so like 200 officers.
Yeah, we're talking about hundreds of police officers, hundreds of law enforcement. That's not enough.
We're hearing like 4 or 5 different people on that.
Not to mention, you saw how many high rises were there, and you're telling me there's only 1 or 2 people that caught some of it? I don't know. Something's fishy.
I'm not familiar enough with Miami to know exactly what the law enforcement agencies would have been that would have responded that night. If I knew that, we might be able
Guessing
to track
Dade
down.
County would be one of them, right?
I have no idea. Yeah, the county, local police, clearly it looks like they segregate into districts within Miami. So what other talk groups were popping off that night? and what else were they saying, there would need to be a whole lot more traffic than just that one talk group to explain the presence that we saw, and a whole lot more in terms of a call, because that call wasn't much. Somebody with a knife, I hear that all the time.
Right.
You know, and I hear more traffic for incidents that are a lot less serious than whatever happened that night.
110%.
Guys, there's something else, and I don't know if we'll ever get it all, because cover it up.
Well, if you want to give us a ring, we're probably going to head into a break here. Yeah, we're probably going to head into a break here in a few minutes. 857-32-D-DIAL. That's 857-323-3425. If you want to get in a call, talk to us about Miami aliens, or tell me I'm wrong about police scanners, or tell Chance his hair is luxurious and you want to touch it, and you want to know how much it would cost for a lock of his hair.
It's astronomical, just to let you guys know. The price is insane.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
Surprisingly cheap to get it cut, though. I found a salon that did it for like $45.
Whoa, where'd you go?
It's this place down in.
Let's not say exactly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get.
You're gonna
exactly,
have to tell me, because I'm looking for a new hair person.
Yeah, they're really solid. I'll give you.
Chan's been wanting a haircut forever, but after that perm gone wrong, went to somebody else.
No, they did really well. I was quite impressed. After the last salon made me look like grungy coconut head.
No, it looks really good. That was the first thing I noticed when I came out this morning. I was like, oh, your hair looks good.
It.
Yeah. He has so much better hair than me.
So Rex said our stream went down to 144p.
No. He was making a joke on me making a 144p joke.
Oh, I was going to say, because our signal, we've done our best to fix up our internet, but occasionally we get a single drop. Like, we get like 1 or 2 drops an episode where we just get cut, and sometimes you have to adjust your resolution back up. I mean, it catches up like immediately, but every once in a while I've seen on YouTube playback, if we've left it streaming in the other room, we'll come back into the other room and it dropped the resolution, and you got to bump it back up in the little settings gear on YouTube.
Refresh your page should do the same.
Yeah, exactly. Just refresh the page. Good point. I'm getting all technical over here. What you gotta do is you gotta get the radio to decrypt P25 Phase 2.
If you can, let me know.
I feel like this is how he explains things to me sometimes, and I'm like, what is that? And then he just kind of stares at me, and I want to like be interested. I don't get it all.
Ouch.
I love
Call me out on air.
But I listen, and I try to comprehend some of it, but sometimes I think you can tell that I'm just not there. I'm like, He's like, yeah, I know you're not interested. I'm like, no, I am. I just don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's kind of serendipitous that we are talking about the scanners from Miami that night, because obviously at the beginning of the show I was talking about how I've been playing with radios, and Chance comes over and I was helping him with his radio. And what did I do? I gave you a drill down of like 100 frequencies in like
good bit.
2 minutes. I was like rolling through them. I'm like, yeah, this one's a repeater on this one.
I do enjoy listening to them, especially with where we live and what's going on. I feel like it's almost like a protection thing, like a safety thing, especially with like fires around here and stuff. Like, we can kind of keep track of like, what's going on.
So we're out in the Southwest here, and there's the Southwest Radio, Southwest Community, why am I getting SWCRS? Yeah. Southwest Community Radio System. It's a bunch of repeater sites that are linked through the internet, and you can essentially get a GMRS signal out to UHF frequencies. You can get a license from the FCC to operate on them for like $35, and you can get a signal out across the entire American Southwest, basically.
Yeah, it's like half the country.
It's mostly Arizona and New Mexico, that particular system, but it also extends out into Colorado and I think a little California, maybe
a little bit of southern, like Baja area.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been cases where you listen to those repeaters and somebody will call for help, and they do.
Yeah, we heard one not long ago where people had gotten stranded, and they ended up getting a hold of somebody else, giving them a phone number and getting them help to come get picked up. It
Right
was
on.
neat.
Yeah, that was in the middle of a net, which a net for the uninitiated is basically just a check-in of various stations. They'll call out your call sign and you can reply back and say you're there and answer a quick question, and it's just kind of a roll call. Everybody turns on their radios and checks in. And it was in the middle of that some guy called out, and his truck had broken down and the sun was going down and he didn't have any gas and his cell phone wasn't working. So they stopped the net immediately and got this guy assistance. His radio was also dying too, so
Oh, God.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
missed
really
that
neat
net.
to hear everybody working together though to make sure this guy got help. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, most radio guys know to, be silent. If you got somebody operating, in that case, you had an operator of the net, you let one guy talk to him and get the information you need to get him help. But in a world where we're so interconnected, the internet is so fragile, cellular networks are fragile. When things go down, there's something to be said for point-to-point communication, and there's some romanticism to it too. The fact that I can talk to you and you can talk to me and we can exchange information. Nothing between us but air,
Air and spicy wiggles.
Spicy wiggles. Spurious spicy wiggles.
Yes, very spurious.
Yeah, in all seriousness, as a safety item, if you are concerned about that stuff at all, I think it's a good thing to have. If you're capable of knowing how to operate it, you can buy a cheap Bofang UV5R,
$25
or an
I was
equivalent
gonna say
radio
they're
for
$19 on Temu.
Oh, don't pimp Temu. Get out of here. I'm gonna mute her mic.
We need a Temu sponsorship, please.
Yes, I feel like after everything I have, I need that.
But really, for like $20, if you're looking around, maybe 25, you can have a way to communicate. That's why CB radio is big among truckers. Yes, it's something to do, but also if you're on a stretch of road with no cell service and the truck breaks down, it could be
Even
a lifeline.
hiking around here, it could really be your lifeline because there's no cell service up in where we go.
Hiking anywhere. I mean, the reality is on a lot of mountains there is cell service, but you get down into canyons and stuff and it's sheer rock. But even then with a radio signal, it's a little tough. I think one of the longest contacts me and Chance ever made was I was up on the mountain and you were like down in the valley.
Yeah.
And we
I
were
couldn't
like
believe y'all were hitting each
30
other.
miles apart or something like that.
with handheld
Right?
radios.
Oh, it was wild.
I think we were both on HTs. We were both
Yeah,
on
fair
handheld,
enough.
like 5-watt radios.
And I just had a little rubber ducky antenna too. I didn't even have anything special going on at that point. Just the stock standard UV5R little rubber ducky.
I think I had a longer GMRS antenna. If you're watching right now, and I like we got a lot of people watching right now, but if you are watching and you're interested in radio stuff and you want us to do some content like that, I'd love to create some separate videos on radio stuff. Honestly, I am no expert. I'm not a ham even. Someday, but it's a progressive hobby that I've done forever. So. All right, you guys got anything else before we go to break here?
I think it'd be break time.
Break
Okay, so we're
time.
gonna hit a break. Give us like 20 to 30 minutes, and we will be back. We can take some more calls. We got some stuff we wanted to talk about. A crazy story about a UFO over a military base. Want to hit on that, and it's a weird one. I don't fully understand it, so we're gonna go through it together, and we might watch a crazy video of Alex Jones talking to Jimmy Dore about interdimensional entities.
The interdimensional entities, all right?
Oh, I'm kind of an interdimensional entity.
We've got some interdimensional frogs, and they're coming into our universe, right?
I
Through
feel
these.
like y'all sound like Beavis and Butthead.
Hold on,
Can we
hold
do the
on.
Schmurby thing?
Hold on, I gotta
Oh,
plug
God,
the
here we
Beavis and
go.
Butthead socks.
You can't beat that. I love them.
Hey, Schmurby. Hey, Schmurby, you want to get some interdimensional entities?
Oh, I would love interdimensional entities,
we're
yeah.
We'll get them in the van.
Oh, the van of interdimension.
get 'em in the van, yeah.
That's the name of my new
You
punk rock album.
You want to come in our van? We're gonna go to space. In the
Space
van.
vans.
Yeah, just get in the van. Just don't even think about it. You think about it too much, it's not a good thing.
It's going to be a
Get 'em
problem. The less you think
Right,
about
Schmurp?
the space van,
Yeah,
the better.
listen to Schmurp. Listen to
Go
Schmurby.
from Alex
Exactly.
Jones to Beavis and Butthead.
It's an old routine. In that case, we'll see you on the we'll come back refreshed after break.
Yes.
We promise.
No.
See you in a bit.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I wasn't.
Aha!
I told them to
You
unmute the
played
mics and I
yourself.
didn't do mine.
We went and robbed a pizza store.
Oh yes, it was wonderful.
Yeah, sure enough. We came back with pizza.
We decided as a strategy next time, like 10 minutes before we go to break, one of us will run out and start the toaster oven.
Because it took a while to preheat. Wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting instantaneous 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I
No,
guess
what's
things
wrong with
just
that
don't work
thing?
that way anymore.
Nope. Do not. So, I'm gonna off phones for now, but we're gonna open them up again in a little bit.
Hold on, that middle white jacket, pretty drippy.
Oh, I don't have it up, so.
Pretty drippy.
God, look at the ads now.
Yeah.
They're listening to
Yeah.
us.
No, it's because somebody's always on it.
Not my fault.
Somebody's
It's
always
not
on
my
Timo,
fault.
so now.
They got me, y'all.
I don't know. I guess we can jump into it. I got 3 articles, all from the same source. They're all Daily Mail articles about a floating jellyfish UFO. Unless you guys want to hit anything else before we hit it.
Ready.
Okay. Let's do it then. Close to your mics. We found the headphones, by the way.
Good.
I found the headphones that we needed, so they were exactly where they should have been. We're just in a panic before the show and did not find them. Here with Marley.
Oh, your
Marley.
PM.
Taking his nap. That's his old man right to take naps.
It's true.
Anytime he wants.
So here we are. I guess I can start reading it here. Floating jellyfish UFO haunted U.S. military base in Iraq for years, says former U.S. Marine intelligence analyst, shown infrared video by colleagues. So there's 3 articles here. Please excuse the ads. This is through the dailymail.uk, co.uk rather, and their ads are always pretty bad. So ex-Marine broke his silence on a 2017 UFO that became ghost story of the base. Ex-Intel analyst stated that the theories that we had didn't fully explain it. Former intelligence analyst with the U.S. Marine Corps, excuse me. Former intelligence analyst with U.S. Marine Corps has revealed how a jellyfish UFO terrorized military personnel for years in Iraq. Video emerged this week showing what looked. Here's the Daily Mail again. Video emerged this week showing what looked like a craft
Yeah,
with
it
dangling
looked.
appendages gliding invisibly over a secure facility. It could only be seen on red cameras. The frustrating thing is everything's split into different articles. Should we check this video out before we do anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a picture that I'm gonna send in YouTube chat if you want to pull it up after we watch this video, because I know exactly what this thing is.
You know what it is? It's not a, you don't think it's a UFO?
This is a joke, but the picture's gonna be funny.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, I squashed the best jokes are the type you need to explain, is what I find. Yay, advertisement. We'll cut it out in
That
post.
guy was about to cut his toes off.
Yeah, this looks kind of scary. Although cutting the hardware cloth like that looks...
So this is actually one of the videos I was referencing last week and I just could not find.
I'm glad I found it for you.
Absolutely.
Really freaky. And as we get into the story reads like a ghost story. It's weird. So, I mean, it looks like some sort of floating jellyfish thing. What's really weird to me is I don't see any movement on it. Like if it was like grocery bags or a balloon, you would expect parts of it to move, right?
but it is stationary, almost as if superimposed onto the.
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. On the top there it says Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell's done a lot of UFO documentaries, broken a lot of UFO news.
Do not ignore.
Ugh, they throw me off. The amount of ads on this site make it like impossible to cover it.
Do you really think Ben Shapiro needs the ad money? Isn't Daily Mail his website?
No. No, Daily Mail's not Ben Shapiro.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I think you're talking about the Daily Caller. No, oh gosh, now I can't think of it.
Oh god, it was founded in 1896?
Well, it says it's Mike Wazowski.
From Monsters, Inc.? Could totally be.
Hero's website's daily something.
Yeah, it's not this though.
Daily Wire.
So it specifies here that looked like a craft with dangling appendages gliding invisibly over the secure facility where it could only be seen on infrared cameras. That's very specific and interesting. It could only be seen with infrared cameras. So you're talking about like night vision
Cloaking technology.
cameras. Joins years of new UFO cases, including a giant red cube, zipping Tic Tacs, and allegations made under oath about secret and illegal crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs. We've covered a lot of that already. It kind of just ended up being like the ghost story of the base, Michael Kunkowski.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Then stationed at a base in Iraq, told cable channel News Nation last evening. It didn't seem to be posturing to threaten us at all, Kunkowski said, but added that the base was not taking any chances during this highly unusual time encounter. And today, Sinkowski revealed that he has heard from a fellow Marine team member who saw multiple recordings of a jellyfish UAP with different durations in Iraq. Different durations, I'm guessing different lengths of time?
Yeah, different video length. It almost looks like it was visible to the naked eye and then cloaked itself right there, like, whoop.
Well, and what is that an effect of? I mean, so presumably infrared interacts differently than the visible light spectrum does when it shines on an object. So if you were to have, say, a transparent window and you were trying to film with an infrared camera outside your window, so you have your camera inside and you're trying to film out the window, that really doesn't work because the infrared reflects off the glass back into the camera, because usually there's an infrared light source being projected out from the camera.
Yeah.
So is it possible here that what we're looking at would have been there but transparent to the naked eye, like a
Yes.
physical object, but was more perceptible on infrared vision? Like you might have been able to see it if you had looked carefully. It was just transparent.
That is exactly what I'm feeling is happening here. Okay, so this does not look like a ship. This looks like squid aliens, telekinetic squid aliens.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I knew you'd love this because it gets into the cephalopod thing, right? Or these cephalopod alien race living under our oceans.
You know, go ahead and go to chat real quick, YouTube chat, and pull up that picture I just sent you, because I guarantee you this is exactly what it is.
Apparently, this is Michael Sinkowski there, pictured above. What are you sending me?
That's what we're looking at here.
StarCraft.
It's an overseer.
It looks like something out of a video game, that's for sure.
Is that not what we're seeing right here?
I don't know. It almost looks like one of those little Star Wars like robot things that like roll with a weird head.
So this looked like a tweet from Sinchowski This morning, I spoke with a former team member who was with me in Iraq back in 2018. They wished to stay anonymous, but they confirmed that we actually had multiple recordings of the jellyfish UAP with different durations. This is apparently the News Nation segment about it. Some of the Marines were tasked to try to find it on night vision, he said. They were looking for it with other sensors and had. Kowski also revealed that he had seen a 17-minute version of the thermal imaging video which tracked the unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UFO, let's call it what it is.
It's a UFO.
Yeah. As UFOs, I like how they say UAP and then UFO. As UFOs are now more accurately known.
I don't know about that.
As it appeared to glide over the base toward Lake Hibernia? Hibernia? In Iraq's Abnar province?
Okay, hold on. It's going towards a body of
Anbar?
water.
Anbar
It's a
province?
It's a squid person!
Was it going toward? What do you mean it's going toward?
Towards lake. Gliding over the base towards a lake.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They were watching it to make sure that it wasn't a threat, said Sinchowski, who'd been an intelligence surveillance tactical controller at the base, in an interview with journalist Brian Enton of News Nation's Elizabeth Vargas report. Former Marine told Enton that the infrared video was captured in 2017 and has been shown to him by fellow SMC servicemen arrived at the base in 2018.
Oh my god, this lake is right next to Fallujah.
You just look it up?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Sinchowski told Enton that the leaked video had been taken with an aerostat, a blimp-like craft equipped with cameras and other sensors out for potential threats over the base. Tethered aerostat radar systems. So yeah, if you don't know what an aerostat is, it's a tethered blimp with sensors on it and lenses and stuff like that. They use them on the Mexican border too. Tethered aerostat radar systems are used by the U.S. military to hunt for drug traffickers, beam U.S. television signals into Cuba. What? Did you know about that?
No.
That's interesting. So they put like over-the-air TV over... Talk about trying to propagandize a population.
That's wacky.
Hey, that's interesting. Beam U.S. television signals into Cuba, conduct reconnaissance, and more, according to the Federation of American Scientists. After 17 minutes, Sinchowski said the jellyfish or spaghetti monster UAP vanished over Lake Hibernia.
The Hibernia seems to be a anglicized version of that. The actual name is like Habania.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. This is mispronunciation dial? So.
Oh, not even it's spelled completely differently.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. They couldn't find it, Sinchowski told News Nation in a remote interview. They kept an eye out, he said, but it wasn't like we were scrambling to our defensive positions or anything like that. From then on, as the story circulated across the U.S. base in Iraq, the ghostly sighting remained, as he put it, a big unknown. Theories that we had... didn't fully explain it, Sinchowski confessed. Senior national correspondent for News Nation, Brian Enton, reported that the cable network had reached out the Pentagon for comment multiple times. Get some editors.
I'm gonna say they've misspelled his name like 3 different times.
I don't know. Have they? The name? I'm just saying here, reported that the cable network had reached out the Pentagon for comment multiple times over several days.
I think ChatGPT wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They need a copy editor. We were able to confirm that Marine is who says he is, Enton said. I'm having a hard enough time reading this on a very tiny screen, and you're not helping me with all the ads and typos. They, the Pentagon, acknowledge that we have been reaching out, but have not responded with specifics about this video or confirmed the video in any way, he told viewers. Some of these pictures look a little less impressive.
It was submerged in water. Hold on, scroll back up. The UFO was supposedly submerged in water for 17 minutes in the footage before it launched out of the water at rapid speed. They're squid people.
According to Jeremy Corbell, and one of these articles I think more centers around his investigation of it. Submerged in water. What are we looking at?
A squid person. A telekinetic cloaking squid person, and you are not going to convince me of another thing.
What?
Or a person with like a jetpack on.
It doesn't look like a person with a jetpack on. Different angles of the jellyfish UFO show the mysterious entity that flies over the water of a, according to sources who Corbell reports risked getting it to him. The leaked USMC footage of what some have called the jellyfish craft. I think saying it's a craft is like...
It looks
kind
biological.
of a stretch. It does look oddly biological, right? Was first made public by UFO documentary filmmaker and co-host of the Weaponized podcast, Jeremy Corbell, who does a lot of good work on this stuff,
Yes.
I gotta say. Corbell said that the legitimacy, and we should honestly have followed up with him. Corbell said the legitimacy of the footage was confirmed to him by sources who risked getting it to him. Two different angles of the apparent aircraft, according to Corbell's sources, show a mysterious entity that flies over the land. The jellyfish craft, these sources said, could only be seen on thermal camera. In fact,
Infrared's different than thermal, though. Hold on.
yeah, that is a contradiction in this article, because earlier they said infrared, and yeah, infrared's very different than thermal. That wasn't thermal video, that was infrared video.
Huh? That was FLIR 100%.
Yeah. Well, FLIR is thermal.
FLIR is thermal. Hold on.
FLIR tends to be thermal anyway. I mean, FLIR is a name brand for an imaging company, but what they're known for is their thermal imaging. To me, that looks like wide spectrum infrared, and not just like night vision infrared, the kind of infrared that you would see at like traffic cameras.
Yeah. Well, FLIR does make infrared stuff too. I'm on their website right now looking at their defense.
Sure, but it says thermal camera.
Yeah. So that's...
But that doesn't look like infrared to me at all.
No. Or thermal.
Or excuse me, yeah, it doesn't look like thermal. It looks like, and it says right there, IR. That's infrared. Yeah, so it's whatever the camera is, it's in an infrared mode. That's what it's doing. So either whoever wrote this article just didn't know the difference, or whatever. Corbell's bombshell revelations came as a part of his expose, TMZ Presents UFO Revolution. Is that one on Tubi? There was one that we had recommended to us that's a Tubi UFO thing that I've been meaning to watch and just
I
haven't
did
sat
see
down
it,
and
but
done
I'm not
it.
sure.
Yeah,
if
that
it's this
is
one.
that one. I recognize the name. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't
we
had a
need to
chance
watch
to,
that,
but
and-
it is that one.
It'll give us something to talk about, not like we can watch it live, but in the documentary, Corbell spearheads the investigation, which believes will lift the lid on the biggest cover-up in the history of the world. The filmmaker is passionate about getting to the bottom of what UFOs. TMZ's documentary is to say. It's not just me, right?
Propitiously timed. Duh. Come on.
Yeah, what? Even in context, that didn't make sense. It's really a shame because we use this because Daily Mail does some good UFO coverage, and it's kind of hard to find this kind of stuff, but good lord.
Yeah, that's just like...
Coming just ahead of House Oversight Committee members' plans for a classified briefing on unidentified anomalous phenomenon today in Congress, which we've covered how this has kind of fallen apart, the declassification bills.
Yeah.
Honestly, I heard Y-Files mention it recently. I'm like, oh, we got to that before they did. Yay. The covert meeting shrouded in mystery underscores a surging interest among lawmakers from both ends of the spectrum that are demanding increased government transparency on the extraterrestrial front. The briefing will be conducted by the Office of Inspector General of the Intelligence Community, Thomas A. We've covered that at length, whether this Disclosure Act is a scam or not.
Yeah, it very well likely is.
So here we have buried military footage reveals a mysterious jellyfish-like UFO. And it looks like this is largely the same. Yeah, same pictures. That one might be different. This it here?
Just like right in the camera. Hold on.
What's the thing say? It goes over a body of water. I'm told it stops on a dime, descends stiff into the water, and for 17 minutes nothing, and boom. This thing comes out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees, Corbell said, describing the object's behavior. Witnesses said that each of the hanging legs on the objects were stiff and unmoving.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
I know. Jeremy Corbell, an investigative journalist and filmmaker, said that the legitimacy of the footage was confirmed by sources who risked getting into it. That's interesting. Whatever. I'm assuming this is it here.
I have to make that assumption. It's the only. It looks the same kind of weird, scrunchy nonsense. Oh,
This is
You
Jeremy
scared
Corbell.
me.
This is just Jeremy Corbell.
one weird looking alien, man.
This is the hearing. You know, I don't know. You're looking at this
On the
one?
right side there.
This?
Yeah, it's that white.
Oh, okay. This is it here. They've got it pretty zoomed in. The webpage.
Yeah, I mean, this thing looks biological. It does not look like a craft, unless it's like some biomechanical, like biologic robot, maybe.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to see that footage a couple more times.
Yeah,
Bring that up.
I want to see the whole 17 minutes. Where's that hiding?
Cox Fiber powers one of the most connected.
Okay, so here we are.
Looks like it cloaks.
So this is over a base in Afghanistan. You said it's near Fallujah and next to a lake, and this thing goes into the lake reportedly and comes out at a 45-degree angle very fast. Everything about it is stiff and unmoving. That's what's weird to me, is because it looks like grocery bags or a balloon or something, but nothing's waving.
Not even an inch.
When it totally, like you said, it looks like it cloaks.
That may be some weirdness of the FLIR, but it totally looks like it's like... Okay, now we're seeing a parallax angle here. We're on the back 45 degrees of it instead of the right or front.
Yeah, it definitely changed perspective there. It looks like they're getting this with like drones.
Drones, or I was looking at FLIR's product catalog, because I'm sure they have the contract for this kind of technology out there, but they've got some land-based systems that are static cameras that mount way up high. They're like boom arms on the backs of trucks that they can send up.
Cox Fiber.
So it may be something like that as well. But it's definitely not ground vantage footage, that's for sure. This thing looks like it's hovering maybe 50 feet off the ground, if I'm reading the vantage point that we're seeing here right. Those trailers are probably like 30, 35 feet tall.
When nobody's reported seeing it with the naked eye. So if it's physically there and it's reflecting infrared, which transparent objects do that, windows do that, they're still unable to see it as it moves over the base. And we're talking about a military base here, you know? Like presumably like a FOB, like a forward operating base.
That's what it looks like. The way it's set up, it's all temporary structures. It's something they set up after they got there. You know, it looks like there was maybe one or two permanent buildings that got repurposed, and then everything else is temporary structures.
What's your best guess?
Like, legitimately squid people. I was saying it earlier, like, as a joke, but I mean, it's not, like, this just gives me more credence into squid people, if anything.
I think it's an alien drone.
I was gonna say, I think it's a drone of some kind that's not ours.
But why does it look so biological?
It doesn't move though. It looks biological because you're looking at it from the angle of, well, it looks like a squid.
I feel
But
like
it's
it probably has like camera things hanging down or sensors or something. I don't it doesn't move.
When's the last time you saw a squid that didn't move though?
Yeah, but a hyper advanced squid might know to not move. Oh, there's people walking around down there. Yeah, hold on, back the video up just a hair right there. They don't react to it at all. This was apparently nighttime footage.
Yeah, a couple people there.
So maybe they couldn't see it through the naked eye because it was nighttime? Possibly?
Marty says it's a Chinese spy balloon. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's
Do
possible.
the dogs look at it at all? No.
None of the animals do. There's like bigger animals that don't look up either.
It looks unearthly to me.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrestrial whatsoever.
I don't think it's biological because it doesn't move.
But it looks so funky and not like design built, but I'm looking at it from a human vantage point, so...
I think it's some sort of drone.
Is it maybe biomechanical? Is it maybe like a biological robot?
That's what I was thinking, like some Star Wars like
Well, that's
robot-y type thing, but it looks like it has a head.
Well, it has some sort of larger body above the tentacles.
Yeah.
It's got like growths coming out of the top of it almost. You see, or those antennas like...
Well, when I say drone, I don't necessarily mean it needs to be a mechanical drone. Like people talk about gray aliens being drones. That they're some sort of biological drone created to go about the universe and collect data for maybe what is a biological species that doesn't travel like that. It's a whole lot easier to send a drone to do the job. And maybe what this is... Okay, here's a theory. It's going to that lake. What if there's a UFO in the lake, and this is something that the UFO creates on the fly?
Sends out.
To send out...
That's why it took 17 minutes for it to connect back and then shoot up.
They had that quick charger. Just the things hanging out the bottom, man. That's what wigs me out about this.
See, the cows don't react.
I mean, the footage itself could be explained as, oh, this is a balloon or something. Even without it being fluid in action. You could probably explain it away like that. But the reports of it going in and out of the water, that really starts to blow your mind. At least it blows mine.
I mean, this video is blowing my mind. The reports, yeah, they definitely add an extra layer, but this doesn't look like any balloon I have ever seen. It's pointy, it's spiky, what? It's got stuff coming off the sides in random, like, nonsensical directions.
Out of all the UFO videos we've watched, this is up there on the weirdness scale.
Is it a demon?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. It's kind of up there with the one that we're like, is it a ghost out in the desert? There was some sort of like spirit orb thing just zipping across the ground. It looked like a hoverboard or something. Is this something supernatural outside the explanation of a UFO?
I'll tell you, the desert's ripe with that kind of nonsense.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's some sort of biological entity that we just have no idea about that lives in the lake. It's a floating lake monster, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, quite literally, that's what it is.
So the lake is apparently very shallow, and it is 54 square miles in area. It is separated very closely to the Euphrates River by another lake. It has been used since antiquity.
So it's not an isolated body of water?
No, there's some other ones around it. It has been used since antiquity for storing floodwater from the Euphrates. A barricade at the lake's northwestern tip diverts the Euphrates water into it.
It's a wild UFO report because it's more like that one they explained as being a Mylar balloon.
Mm-hmm.
We had watched some footage, and I want to say it was Afghanistan.
And that one I could believe was a balloon.
Yeah, that one was not hard to swallow that it could have been a balloon.
Yeah, this one I don't know. It's weird.
This one, you couldn't convince me that's a balloon. At least not with the story that goes with it.
Hibernia, Iraq. From celebrity haunt to safe haven among ruins. Once an elite holiday destination, then a refuge for those displaced by ISIS. The resort town is trying to rebuild. Well, it used to be like a tourist destination, like a luxury tourist destination.
Where this thing is?
Yeah, the lake at least.
Huh.
Very specifically. It's only 50 miles west of Baghdad. Oh my god, what? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna send you a picture at least. I don't want to send this entire article. But take a look at... This lake is definitely not what we are picturing it as, I don't think, in our heads.
Pull it up like on map.
I'm just sending you a picture of the area of the lake. Because it legitimately is, it looks like a legitimate, like, resort site. This is really weird.
Oh.
Like, it's not just like a desolate lake in the middle of nowhere. It's like they have, like, it has infrastructure set up around it.
Let me try to pull up a map.
Yeah,
This is not what I expected it to look like.
Not even close.
Well, you expect it to be like war-torn when we say, oh, it's near Fallujah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like these areas were in rubble before we showed up.
Oh, well.
What was it? Lake?
Hibernia. H-A, if you want the actual spelling, it's H-A-B-B-I N-I-Y-A-H.
Get this pulled up.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so here's a map of the region, and here's the lake in the middle.
Oh, look at that picture in the top left. It's shallow. Those people are wading like a good almost half mile probably in that water, and they're on their like up to their knees only.
Well, it has a shallow coast anyway. Photos of it. I mean, it's a sizable lake.
Yeah, it's weird. It has like a little beach front.
It's a 56 miles square.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big lake.
Yeah, Fallujah's right there, off to the right. Uh-huh. An airport right next to it?
They're definitely...
So we're not talking about like an isolated area necessarily.
No, and that makes sense because it's next to the river in the desert. Like, if you're going to live somewhere in the desert...
It's there.
It's there, yeah, exactly. And here's the larger...
I think that's the one that separates it from the Euphrates, from what I understand. Or no, the Euphrates is like right there on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Separates.
Yeah, okay, I misread that.
This is the Euphrates River. Question. Do you see an alien in the lake?
Let's see. I'm looking. Are there any black boxes that Google has put up anywhere? There's a surprisingly blurry region to our direct left.
Right, I was thinking that.
And that's 2020. That blurry footage is 2024 as well. That's interesting.
No, I think that's just the copyright.
They put that over what year the picture was taken.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. I know sometimes you can actually get, at least in Street View, you could see. Yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot more we can glean other than this isn't remote nowhere necessarily. It's next to the river. Some semblance of civilization.
The Blood Coast on the left. What's the Blood Coast?
Oh, I see it. Lake. Yeah. Bottom left, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, algae blooms.
Yeah, it looks like algae. Well, and part of me thought that, like, so you know the Portuguese man of war?
Mm-hmm.
Is like, it's many different species kind of come together in like one thing. If you DNA test the Portuguese man of war, it's like I don't know. I'm talking off the cuff here, but it's like 6 different species or something like that.
Yeah.
In one thing that we always thought of as one animal, but it's not. It's not just specialized cells. It's actually different organisms that make that thing.
So are you telling me this is sentient flying algae?
Maybe. That's what I'm saying. What if it's flying algae? Some sort of creature like that.
This is funky, man. This area is not what I expected.
Why can I see my name inside of the algae?
Oh my god.
Right? Like, you just stare at it for a second, I like see my name in it.
The Blood Coast is calling
What
to
do
you. There's a J and an A for sure.
Yeah.
Squint at the algae. Squint at it.
So this is the Portuguese man of war.
It got a mohawk, man. Look at that.
It's a weird looking creature, right? But it's not just a single creature.
Jellyfish scare me.
Well, and it's not a jellyfish.
That's even scarier. I think it's full of air.
Although it superficially resembles a jellyfish, Portuguese man of war is in fact a Siphonophore?
Siphonophore.
Oh, thank you, Chance. Oh my god, why don't I need to make you read it? How do you know that?
I've researched siphonophores before. They're weird.
It's a siphonophore. So that's a marine organism. What's a siphonophore? Do you know much?
Not too much. It was a long time ago. I just know I've watched some stuff and read some stuff on them.
Siphonophores are highly polymorphic, complex organisms. Maybe I'm wrong, but my understanding of the Portuguese man of war. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Coloniality.
Yeah, there you go.
Down there at the bottom.
Described as a colonial organism, as the individual zooids in a colony are evolutionarily derived from either polyps or the 2 basic body plans. Bring this up here and have our cephalopod expert
I am a squid man.
Give this.
I'm a squid man.
Did I skip it?
It's right there. Let's that down a little bit.
Coloniality.
Alright. The man of war is described as a colonial organism because the individual zooids in a colony are evolutionarily derived from either polyps or medusae, the 2 basic body plans of cnidarians. Both of these body plans comprise entire individuals in non-colonial cnidarians. For example, a jellyfish is a medusa, a sea anemone is a polyp. All zooids in a man of war develop from the same single fertilized egg and are therefore genetically identical. They remain physiologically connected throughout life and essentially function as organs in a shared body. Hence, a Portuguese man of war constitutes a single individual from an ecological perspective, but is made up of many individuals from an embryological perspective.
Yeah.
A lot of words.
So I think what it's getting at is that the zooids are essentially creatures in and of themselves that can combine to form a bigger creature. And from a perspective of looking at it as an animal in a ecosystem, it may as well be considered a single animal. But for the purpose of like taxonomy and looking at it genetically, it is constituted of multiple organisms in a symbiotic relationship.
That's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
But the whole polyps are weird anyway, jellyfish and polyps, and their life cycle doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
They're not alive. They're not alive.
I don't know. They freak me out.
They're like big giant big squishy viruses, man. Like what?
They're alive. They're definitely alive.
I want to wear that as a hat.
I want to
It
pop.
does look like a good hat. Although it might just sting. It looks like it'll sting you. I have no idea though. All right. Well, what if it's one of these? What if it's some sort of algae bloom jellyfish
That can fly.
colonial organism?
How's it flying? Like, how's it flying?
It's so thin and transparent because it's like a single cell wall thick.
It's just floating along.
like a single
in the
cell
wind.
thick throughout its entire. Maybe.
Oh, maybe it's filled
I mean-
with helium.
There are organisms that are like that, like certain mushrooms or fungi that are basically a single cell thick throughout like an entire forest floor. That would presumably be light enough to float, but you would expect to see movement in it, not it be rigid and stiff. So I don't know. That's all I got on it.
Very strange.
That's all I got on it. What do you guys think? Anything else?
Ah.
I hope more footage comes up.
Yeah, I want to
can't
see that whole
tell.
17 minutes. I am very curious as to what's up with the rest of the footage. I want to see it come in and out of the water. I think that's the big kicker here, is seeing that.
That would be excellent proof because it's compelling, verbal eyewitness report, but there's no actual
Jeremy
video
Corbell,
of it.
if you're watching this,
Get it. You think
release
he's-
the rest of that
You think
footage.
he's not working on it? He's working on it. So you want to throw up? Should I throw up the Alex Jones thing and then we'll throw on calls for a
Yeah,
little
throw on
while?
calls.
So we're gonna watch this Alex Jones thing and talk about it. I'm talking to Jimmy Dore about interdimensional beings, and feel free to call us. I'm gonna open up calls here. We haven't done the like and subscribe thing in a while. If you're watching, please do us a favor and like and subscribe. Really helps us out. Give us a follow on Rumble. If you go to darkdial.com, you can sign up for our forum and see all the socials we're on. Mainly it's YouTube, Rumble, and X. And if you're on Twitch, hi.
Hi.
Getting set up here.
I'm just wondering how I should turn my headphones on for Alex Jones, because sometimes it can be like loud and.
He's gonna be like, and then we saw the interdimensional jellyfish
And
demons.
you're like, ah!
Man, when we're doing that like jellyfish thing, I'm like, oh, how are we? It's sometimes when we talk about stuff, it feels messy, and I'm like, this is gonna be a pain to try to cut into a segment.
I think we did pretty good on that.
It's all right. We'll find out.
That lake is a really interesting point to me. And the more we learned about that lake, the more interesting it became as a point.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, we gotta stop using Daily Mail. They're such a good source, but it's so terrible to try to use them on stream.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's not just the ads, but it's also, it's hard for me to read, this, and I'll say it for anybody who's tuning in for the first time who hasn't heard me complain about this. I'm reading in a very small screen when I'm reading. And then when there's typos and ads popping up everywhere, it makes it that much more difficult.
Well, they couldn't even get the spelling of the names right. That's annoying.
I want to show you this. Tucker Carlson.
Okay. So, this is actually from Jimmy Dore's channel, The Jimmy Dore Show. a pretty good political commentator. I would describe him as a progressive liberal type with a libertarian streak who's been kind of, portrayed in mainstream media as alt-right, which is really weird because that's not where the guy stands at all. He's very pro-union and has a lot of liberal talking points. Anyway, he did an interview with Alex Jones, and these two guys have a weird relationship to begin with. And Alex Jones went off about experiences he had when he was young, hearing about aliens. So I'm going to cue it up. And I've seen this once.
I have not.
I have not.
But I think you guys are going to like.
Go. Very.
Sometimes cutting the music off during the videos.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's watch this video.
Set the blueprints for us to kill ourselves and for an alien to take over. And so basically the aliens don't come in flying saucers from Mars. They don't come up out of the Pacific, rim, from the hollow earth. They come through the interdimensional vortex and then communicate to our brain that is operating in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, and even 11th and 12th dimensions. And so the invasion, ancients would call it spiritual, but it's not spiritual. In every culture, I mean, they got the Dugon tribe, and tribes in Africa that said up there in the sky.
If you guys want me to pause it, I can at any point. The Dugon tribe that he just referred to, are you familiar with that one? So it's this tribe that had ancient star maps plotted out and predicted things about the stars in terms of, well, that star there has X amount of planets, objects revolving around it, that sounded absurd on their face, but as we started to look at through stuff like the Hubble telescope or whatever telescopes, we were able to actually verify, if not most of their claims, all of them. And somehow this ancient African tribe had knowledge of these celestial bodies that aren't visible in the night sky.
Whole star, multi-star, and it's got 7 planets around it, and they came from this one. And no telescope until like 70 years ago could even see it.
He's going to say it for me.
And then it's what the Africans said that was, and they say aliens came from here and taught us about all this stuff, but they also told us about these other interdimensional things that are here to destroy us. And see, I don't know, but all I know, and then you see Prometheus, the movie, they find the cave drawings, the cave drawings of Sirius and all that, and tell you the story. None of the globalists really believe that some salts in the ocean turned into a cell, turned into a sponge, turned into a fish, crawled out on the land, crawled back in. No, these are designs that have been made before. These are manifestations of the universe. So just like in leaves or in crystals, you see the same designs. And then in our bodies, you see the same designs. And there was a French mathematician, I forget his name, a quantum mechanics expert. I saw this on PBS when I was a little kid. I looked it up later, it's true. He postulated before we were even in space, I think like 80 years ago, that when we finally were able to fly a probe over Saturn, either the North or South Pole, that an interdimensional size of the gas giant, this is quantum mechanics stuff, I don't understand it, would manifest a hexagon on the top. And he predicted that it would be ice on the top with the frozen gas. And when they flew Voyager over it, there was a perfect hexagon on the top. And then when another probe came back later, because it went on past, and went under it, there was exactly what the quantum mechanics physicists said. And it gets into the observation where they'll have a lead block sealed, and they'll have a neutron or a particle.
Okay, so he's just talking about
if you're
the observer
it,
collapsing, the wave function
for some
here.
reason, this has been duplicated thousands of times. if you're not
things
observing
act
it, it
as
suddenly
waves or
jumps
particles
across. It wants you to know something.
in terms of
and then they've also noticed that if humans
interference
observe
patterns and
electrons and quarks, that literally, so it's kind of like George Lucas, but not in a cheesy way, because it's so subatomic that it changes observance, changes what's happening. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And they've hooked up electron
I'm going to skip ahead just a
microscopes,
little bit here.
in Japan to say, well, maybe it's because there's humans near it. And then they'll hook it up, and then they'll have all these humans in the room around it. Next person, I just know that's what's going in unified field theory. I've read a lot of books, and then out in the street around thugs.
I like how he gives Jimmy Dore no space to talk.
It would be in their nest
Jimmy
or
Dore's
in
just
their
like,
cave,
okay.
coming out of the cave mouth, because that's usually where. So kids are always, little kids that have good instincts are always at night. I'll close the door. Oh, what's in the door? As a kid, I remember like doorways at night were going into it, because that's our instinct. So maybe these things don't look like big demons with teeth and eyes and all this. Maybe that's the only way our brain processing it, when it has a wider spectrum, we're taking
go ahead
in,
and
it only
open up
processes
calls
a
while
tiny
we're
bit, but we're
watching
getting
this.
it all.
Anybody
The
wants to
subconscious
call,
and
it's
unconscious is actually
857-322
decoding it
dial.
all.
That's 857-323-3425.
So that's what's a cat seeing? How does it decipher it? Because all we have is the archetypes of our genetic ancestors imprinted on us to be able to decode things.
You're talking about epigenetics to
so
some
again,
degree.
maybe demons really don't look like demons to themselves, but to us, that's the only way we're able to see them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I follow what you're saying for sure.
Have you done DMT ever?
He answers that question.
Oh my god.
Perfect place to pause, though. That's an interesting concept, and I believe this, that the human brain can only perceive so much. Like we're limited in terms of the spectrum that we can perceive visually and auditorily, right? And do things project themselves into, like, do we see things in the way that our brain can build the model of reality?
Yes, I think so. I think 100%. I think even like time necessarily is an illusion created by our brain.
Good God. Yeah, we're going to go... We can't go deep into that one. No, I'm saying just generally, if there's something outside of the realm of our typical perception, and somehow we get a glimpse of it, will it present itself in a way that makes sense to us and our brain? Because your brain has to build the model of reality with the inputs that are coming in from eyes and ears, right? So like what you're actually experiencing isn't exactly what's coming in your eyes. It's how your brain builds reality around you so that you can understand it, right?
And like 300 milliseconds in the past.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it takes a moment. So I'll let this roll. I kind of wanted to find a spot in this where he talked about being in the back seat of a car as a kid and hearing, I believe it was his father talk to somebody. And maybe it wasn't in this video. Maybe it's not in this segment that they cut out of the live stream, but...
No, here's the deal. I don't want to take it because I remember reading about DMT and ayahuasca experiences and going, well, I have those experiences every night. Crystal cities, floating pyramids, beautiful stuff, like big watchmen, angels that, like, it didn't happen all the time. It happens, maybe once a month, that tell me what's going to happen and just give me profound knowledge and profound sense of completion and peace. And it's that archetype of the watchman or the angels, and everybody, and the ancients saying, this angel came to me and told me this. So I have DMT-like experiences. And before I knew how to control it, a lot of it was bad stuff. I've seen, when I read the books about it, well, I've seen that in my dreams. Well, I just made the decision that I'm with the higher power. I'm with God. I control my spirit. I control my energy. I change the channel. I'm going to go to Valhalla. I'm going to go see stuff that looks like 1,000 times more powerful than Hawaii and the most beautiful rainbow you ever saw. And so I know it's real because. And again, it's just like observing a particle. If you're watching it, it won't do it. Hundreds of times in my life, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, when I was a kid, like I have a digital clock in the kitchen. I'd wake up and I'd say, it is 7:15. And I would run down to the kitchen, and every time
What is he talking about here?
and maybe I wake up at 5 a.m. and I'd say
You know,
it's 5:04.
oh, hold on.
It was always,
Pause real
it was
quick.
always this thing saying.
I've had experiences similar, not to compare myself with nut jobby Alex Jones going crazy right here, but I've had some weird experiences similar to that where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh, it's 3:04 in the morning, look at my phone, and that's exactly what time it is. Or I'll go to look at my phone like seconds before a message comes in. So that kind of stuff,
I've done stuff like that.
does happen. It's really weird. And I've always attributed like the one where like I pick up my phone before a message comes in. I've always attributed that to maybe like my brain is somehow feeling the signal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting some kind of weird imperceptible notice as the radio wave flies through my head to my phone that, oh, something's about to...
I know exactly what you mean, because sometimes I'd get like a leg twitch where my phone is, and I would think, oh, maybe that's interference.
My phone will be buzzing on the table over there.
Well, because the reality is when a message comes in, there is like an EMF wave that's sent off from the phone itself. It's not necessarily that you're perceiving the incoming message, because there's radio waves around us all times. We know that. How many voices are in the radio waves around us right at this moment, not including Wi-Fi and everything else. But your phone transmits out, and when your phone transmits out, you can measure that on a Gauss meter, like those like ghost hunting Gauss meters, just like you can from a radio. That's why, like, you know, you're not supposed to transmit with a radio right next to your head, like a high-powered radio. You're supposed to be careful because as that EMF transmission can be a carcinogen. You know, that I believe EMF is classified as a type 2B carcinogen, which is it's possible that it can cause cancer. But it might be possible that you might be able to sense the radio emission coming from your phone, and when it gets that message, of course, it communicates back that it got the message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you ever had your phone next to a speaker? When a message comes in, and just before the message comes in, you can hear some interference come over the speaker. Something similar to that.
And go look at the clock. I'm here. I want you to know this is real. And then I had dreams of getting mugged. And about 6 months later, I did get mugged by the same homeless white guy in the purple and green striped shirt. He had a knife. Maybe I was going to get killed. Interdimensionally, the angels warned me. So I knew when it happened. I was a teenager. Wasn't on drugs.
Precognitive dreams. Pause for a second real quick. So precognitive dreams are something that has been studied in science. And it's I think the statistic is something around 40% of people have at least one precognitive dream in their life. I had a really weird experience recently where I had this just crazy, like hours-long dream. Like I could feel the dream in real time. I actually wrote this one down. But there was one particular point in it where I walked in a room, and on a table, there was a particular firearm sitting on the table in my dream, okay? The next day, I go to a gunsmith to have him check one of my firearms out, and he goes, hey, you want to see something really cool? And he pulls out a bag, sets it on the counter, unzips it, and pulls out the exact same weapon that I saw in my dream the night before.
That's wild.
It was, I stared at it, and he was like, are you all right? And I'm like, bro. Like...
What always trips me up is I have certain recurring dreams. So I have some pet frogs, and my pet frogs will always be in the dream, and it's the same theme of the dream every time. And I've had them for years and years that the frogs have escaped, and I'm trying to collect them, and I end up catching frogs that aren't my frogs, and I'm trying to identify what species they are.
Oh no.
And yeah, all the time. It's weird.
The frog hunting dreams.
I dream things before they happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just weird. Like, I had a dream that my cousin who lived states away that I hadn't talked to in years was going to be in a car accident on his girlfriend's birthday. I could explain what she looked like. I've never met her. I could explain she was wearing a birthday crown on her head. So the next day I woke up, called my mom, and it happened to be the girlfriend's birthday. I knew what car they were driving, and that they were going to be in an accident.
Which you didn't have you'd never been in that car or seen that car.
I hadn't talked to him in a decade. You know, like, I moved on, I had my kids, like, that dream, but it was so detailed that, like, you couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
And I've had other ones since.
No, there's something to precognitive dreams. Mark Twain actually had, and wrote down about a precognitive dream he had where he was attending his brother's funeral, and he saw his brother's body in a metal casket, and there was a set of red roses laying on his brother's corpse. And then him and his brother went to work on a steamboat, and they got separated. They ended up working on 2 separate steamboats, and during the course of that, his brother's steamboat crashed or caught fire or something, but it went down, and his brother died in that. And he went to a viewing of his brother's body, and he saw his brother laying in a metal casket, but he wrote it off because he said, I didn't see any red roses on his body. And then he said, as he turned to leave the viewing, a woman walked in with a bouquet of red roses, went up and set them on his body.
That's pretty crazy. My mother and her mother have had precognitive dreams a number of times. I'm not going to totally get into them right now. Maybe we'll get into them someday.
I'd like to do a segment on dreams one day, because I think there is something very, very strange about dreams. That's something weird.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. I'd love to do it when we have some callers available to call in too about it.
No doubt.
That's
get
totally
some of their dreams.
Yeah, exactly. I want to hear what other people think about it. So,
Well, I'll tell you, just as a quick tangent, keep a dream journal. Whoever's out there watching, whoever's listening, write your dreams down. I promise you'll remember more of them if you do, and it will increase the vividity, and you'll start to notice some really strange things. It's something that I've done for a while, and I've just recently gotten back into writing down like every dream I can remember, and it's a good task.
That helps. I also find it helps for me dream recall, just when you wake up, not opening your eyes right away and just kind of still lying still, but now conscious, going over what was just happening in my dream, like, and trying to pull at those threads to pull something out when you're closest to it. Well, we got about 8 minutes here. Let's let this thing play a little bit. I might revisit this next episode. This is a fun kind of nightcap thing. Just open up calls and just let this play. If he doesn't get to the point where he was a kid and in the back of the car, I'll see if I can find that, and maybe we'll follow up with it at the end of the next episode.
To underage, and this happened, and I had a lot of other dreams of things that came true, and so I guess I'm starting to share a lot of this because people need to know there's things bigger than the New World Order, and they want you shuttered, hating yourself, not knowing what a beautiful creation you are, not knowing you have free will, so you won't use your potential. And Tucker Carlson has had an awakening. He's had an awakening that good and evil exist, and before he wasn't sure about that. And so he's had experiences now that have shown him how real this is. And other people are going to have it because there's something big. And is it us? They've proven the sixth sense. That's how you know when somebody's looking at you. You're walking through the forest, nobody's around. You feel somebody looking at you, turn, you look 20 yards away, a guy standing there looking right at you. Or, everybody knows that. And they've proven, that's how butterflies can fly from Canada all the way to Mexico, even though they were hatched in Canada and never been to Mexico, and fly to the same tree that their ancestor was laid in, and then they fly back up to Canada, die, lay the eggs, die, and fly perfectly back to the tree. Scientists don't know how they do it. Well, no, they have they do know now. They have magnetic cones in them, little bitty tiny magnetic cones in their brain that operate off of electromagnetic lines. And now we know the ancients were into that, and we know that humans have hundreds of times per density the magnetic cones of a butterfly. Not just that their brain's so much tinier, per brain structure, we have way more than that. Well, why do we have that? A butterfly has a tiny bit and can navigate 3,000 miles perfectly to the tree that their parent was born in, okay? How do they do that? Well, it's the same thing. How do ducks fly from Canada all the way, down to South Texas and then land in the same pond where their parents were born? How do they do this over and over and over and over again? Because
untapped human potential.
Aren't just following the lines. The cones are.
You say it all the time about the CIA report,
so
right?
Instincts aren't just some vague thing.
Yeah. What did it say exactly?
You can't handle all
it's a very comprehensive report. But the main takeaways, there's a particular part of the report that covers like the entire dossier, and it says a couple of things of note. One, is that psychokinetic abilities like extrasensory phenomenon, remote viewing, and things that fall under that umbrella are real. They also say that every single person, through the act of training and concentration, is able to access these abilities. It is something that every single human being intrinsically has the ability to do. And the most potent part for the government, at least, is the third thing of note that they put on this brief dossier report over, is that it poses both great potential and great risk to national security.
We need to pull that up at some point.
Oh yeah, I can dig through FOIA again and find that exact one. That'd
be great.
Buried,
Yeah.
but I'll take some time and dig through FOIA.
An average person cannot handle that. All that knowledge of all your ancestors, it would be too blinding, too much. Just like you, and that's proven, that's there. Just like you can't see everything around you because you couldn't handle that, because it's too distracting. It's like trying to conduct, threading a needle while you've got 1,000 people banging drums around you and giving you electric
That concept
shocks.
that your bandwidth,
It's like trying
your
to
radio
write a
dial
novel
only goes from
100
here
feet
to
under
here.
the water with a typewriter while great
We've
white
only
sharks
had,
are trying
our
to eat
brain
you.
is only
So
set
all
up
this
to
stuff
see
around us,
what
we're
is
like a
physically
larval egg,
survive,
what
like the
humans are
things
about
that
to
help us
become
physically
with the
survive.
butterfly analogy. We're in a pubescent or larval pupa stage, swirling around in the universe and not aware of all the danger and things that are going on because we can't handle it.
Okay, wait, I have a question. Why would it just be interdimensional? Why wouldn't it be yes and? Because people say, oh, it's preposterous, it would come from other planets. How is that more? I'm sure the interdimensional thing could possibly be true, but the interplanetary thing is crazier
Kurt
than that?
Metzinger.
How would that
I
be?
know the call now cut it off, but
I'll go back to Frank Herbert, which is out of quantum mechanics. This
co-host
is
of
actually
Jimmy Dore.
The quantum mechanics, experts believe. Let's take this piece of paper and say,
have you ever seen?
Right here is Betelgeuse.
Oh God, I
some
can't think of the
star,
name of it.
however
Is this
many
the
light years
tunneling
away.
thing? We all know this.
Yeah, we all know this.
I'll show
We
you.
all know this.
Let's say there's a galaxy 50 light years away, okay? Okay, and here's our...
What's that movie with
and
Sam
here's,
Neill?
This planet that we want to go to, okay? Now, if you're trying to go 50 light years with current technology, even though we had light speed, it'll take you 50 years to get there. Now, interdimensionally...
Event Horizon.
All you gotta do...
You ever seen Event Horizon? It's like a space horror movie.
Piece of paper.
This is exactly how he
Interdimensionally, if you're able
explains
to do this,
and
that's
illustrates
the theory of the third dimension. There's higher dimensions. And then
space
all you
travel.
do...
There was an
Warp
episode
travel.
of Fairly Odd Parents where they did this. They were taking a road
this has been
trip and the
done.
map
That's like
folded.
somebody,
and-
before they invented the wheel...
It's been done enough
they did
times
a
that it's almost
chariot saying, what
cringy
does
that Alex
do?
Jones
So
is
see,
explaining it that
It'll
way.
take you 50 years to get there with the technology we don't even have yet. But if you interdimensionally travel there, you're there instantly by folding. That's fold space.
Right. How's that different? All right.
Okay. All right. So before we let you go,
I feel like there's
wanna,
better ways to describe that.
You know,
there's much better ways to describe
I'm really
stabbing
into
a piece of
we
what-
talked about
what
a
warp
collective
drive would look
unconscious,
like.
which kind of parallels what you're saying about the knowledge of everything.
I'll do
that
my
came
best to
before
describe
us.
one without
And
having
he
a
would have this
visual
vision-
aid in front of me real quick. If you have the cloth of space-time, imagine an actual bed sheet spread out taut, and you were to put a toy car on it, and you were to push down in front of the toy car and push up behind it on the cloth. You could move that car without the car having any sort of propellant, because you're bending space-time both in front and or behind the vehicle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know you can't see my fingers, but yeah, I meant taunt cloth, car on it, push up behind it, and or down in front of it, and you're bending the fabric of space-time to move the vehicle.
In his dreams that were symbols of things that he didn't know what they meant, but he knew they were important. And then he would read books about the alchemical process, which was all about psychic gold,
Alchemical.
turning psychic lead into psychic gold. And
Chances,
he
you
would
boy.
he would find
The
out,
work.
1,000 years ago,
The
they knew what
great
this
work.
symbol meant. And why would it show up in my dream? And if I didn't know what it meant already, well, because you already have access to that knowledge. It's called the collective unconscious. That was his greatest contribution
Collective consciousness.
to psychology. And I
No,
think
that's absolutely true. So you can't really turn lead
Carl
into gold,
Jung.
even though with some of these big cyclotrons
Right.
they can do it
I have
now.
a book
You know,
where
small
Carl
piece
Jung
takes a lot of
posited
money.
theories on
The
UFOs.
energy But you can, with advanced
About them being a
knowledge we already
manifestation
have,
of the
create
collective
gold
unconscious.
of new inventions. And I'm saying there's bad actors that are trying to get us to build things that are destructive because they want to hurt us and get rid of us because of whatever destiny we have or whatever's unfolding. I'm just speculating there. I wish I had crew in the studio because they've been showing for about a month this AI rendering of castles and mountains and the universe and how it changes. And when I saw them play that, I went, that's where I go. That's one of the things I've seen basically exactly. Well, here's AI scraping the art and visions of billions of people. And then you put into it the cosmos, heaven, and then it literally shows you what the collective unconscious already has. So that is the power of AI, is that it scrapes
It's like a mirror.
fragments of what we're doing
AI
in
is
the
a
conscious
mirror.
and
Oh, I'm about to
unconscious.
boot my AI box up when I get home again. I haven't turned that
It
thing on in a
is,
while.
Many of these things I've seen manifesting some really deep, powerful stuff. There's no crew in there, is there? Too bad
Can we
everybody's
train it
probably
to be
gone, or
allegiant
I'm gonna
to
send
Dark
you
Dial?
this, Jimmy.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the stuff I see in
Yes,
these
I can
dreams
actually.
is just
I
like
trained
this,
it
but
to
even
be
more
allegiant to
blazing
to be allegiant to a
just,
company
you
I
know,
worked
way
for in
more
a
powerful.
Grand Theft
But
Auto
when I
roleplay
saw
server,
this
so
for the first time, I was like,
we can
whoa,
make it work here.
That's very similar to what I see, and I'd never seen art like that, never seen culture like that, never seen what I'd seen. One of the things I see, and then AI though, it saw it because it's scraping billions of people.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California.
You can see Jimmy Dore live if you want.
Oh, he's nowhere near us though.
Interesting, right? If you are watching, please do like and subscribe. We're just wrapping up for the day.
Okay.
Give us a follow on Rumble. Follow us on X. We could really use it, and it honestly it makes us feel good.
It'd be like pretty cool, bro, if you were to like click some of those buttons, man. Then I could be like, whoa, we're like famous, bro.
It's like throwing us a tip, but it's free. It literally just takes a motion of your finger.
The tip is for our dopamine receptors, all right?
Well, yeah, it lets us know we should keep making this content. So, like I said, I think it would be fun. I know we didn't watch that whole video. I'm gonna try to find the part where he talks about listening to somebody in the know while he's in the back of a car as a kid.
Yeah, that's
Interdimensional.
interesting. I'd be interested to
I
do
thought
that
it was
for sure,
in
man.
that bit, but I guess not. And I might not be able to find it. I don't know, because some of Jimmy Dore's stuff is like behind paywall, and I'm not paying Jimmy Dore. But not that I don't like him. Check, if you want to check him out, he's an interesting dude.
I tell you what, Alex Jones always manages to entertain me, if nothing
Oh, yeah.
else.
I like him on other people's show though, that
More
his
than his
own,
show.
because he kind of
Yeah.
like rants a little crazy on his own show, but I feel like he does really, really well on other people's shows.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, watching InfoWars can be kind of painful because I don't want to buy vitamins. I already have vitamins. By the way, buy
Vital
Dark Dial.
supplements.
Buy Dark Dial vitamins.
Hold on a second. That's
Dark Dial vitamins.
yeah. Are we gonna make like psychic vitamins?
Be able to see things.
I know some weird plants that'll make you dream funny things.
African dream root.
African dream root. There's Zakatachichi's another one. There is this particular bean that comes out of South America. There's a few others that I don't remember the names of off the top of my head, but there's some. Gamma. It's a drug that's regulated for Alzheimer's disease, but you can get it over the counter, and it does some crazy stuff to your dreams, apparently.
So one of the supplements, or it's actually a vitamin that I can think of, is vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form of vitamin K2, K2 MK7. They say it decalcifies soft tissue, and the gig on it is, or at least conjecture is, that it can decalcify your pineal gland, the pineal gland being central to what they believe is the spot in the brain that releases dimethyltryptamine. So it's in cod liver oil, certain like fermented cod liver oil, and there's a whole thing about calcified pineal glands. But that's apparently, it's in leafy green vegetables, and it's in, like I said, fermented fish, I think. But that's supposed to, in terms of your arteries, I think what it does is it takes out calcium and deposits it into bone. It moves the calcium around. It can like thicken your blood, I guess. But that's one they say might help. I don't know. We don't.
Galantamine. Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. No, Alex Jones and Jimmy Dore have an interesting history because they started that off talking about how Alex Jones or spit in Jimmy Dore's mouth or the other way around or something. Like they were in some sort of confrontation when Jimmy Dore was working for Cenk Uygur, and Alex Jones was screaming or something, and one of them spit in the other one's mouth because they were in like close quarter contact. Yeah, they have some tumultuous history. So it's kind of cool to see people who you might not expect to get along talking. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Sharing a difference of views and opinions.
If we all thought the same, that's pretty boring, right?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
Okay, so the G chemical I was talking about a second ago, it's called galantamine. It is it comes out of a couple
This is
of
not medical advice.
No,
by the way.
no, it's not at all.
This is just conjecture of what we've heard.
It is found in a few different plants. The ones that are most commonly available in America are the red spider lily and the daffodil, and it's extracted from the bulbs of them, and it's used by the FDA to treat cognitive decline in mild cases of Alzheimer's. It was used in mythology in in the Odyssey. Hermes gives Odysseus
Really?
This particular herb, and it causes some weird visions. It is also apparently an antidote to Jimson weed, like deliriant type.
Really?
So Jimson weed is hold on, let me read here.
It's a delirium.
It's an anticholinergic, right? So it stops acetylcholine in the body from reuptaking, and it causes an extreme reaction to that.
That's scary stuff.
Galantamine is it does the opposite essentially. So deliriant type chemicals, you're able to use this to cause a reduction in that effect, but acetylcholine and cholinase are really, really tied to dreams and the way that dreams form, and the way that this particular chemical works allows more uptake, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, more uptake of cholinase and acetylcholinase, and it those particular chemicals, when reuptaked by the brain, cause vivid deliriant visions, and it can happen in your dreams as well. So it's able to increase vividity in your dreams. It's an interesting little chemical.
This could set me off into a whole rabbit hole of plant consciousness and exopheromones. The idea that, I always think it's funny when a vegan or vegetarian says they don't have to kill anything to eat their food, because that's not true. You're killing a plant. I mean, plants are living things. I studied horticulture and in college. Okay, so I have some background in this, and it kills me when somebody goes, "Oh, it's you'll see somebody growing a plant," and I've heard the comment before, almost like it's alive. Well, that's because it is. It is alive. It's a living
that's when
organism.
people say I killed it. They know they killed it.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know when you kill it, but you don't know it's alive. Ironic. But yeah, these are living systems, and what does consciousness look like that's non-human? We've gone on to the definition of non-human consciousness when it comes to UFOs and UAPs in legal terms when we read some of the Disclosure Act. But just because something isn't conscious in a way that you're able to recognize doesn't mean that it doesn't have some form of consciousness. Plants talk to each other through the use of pheromones.
Conscious rocks.
You know that smell right before it rains? That's plants opening their stomata, their pores effectively, and... Excuse me?
Geosmin.
Geosmin?
It's a particular chemical that causes that smell, and it is released by plants.
I thought it was... what's the name of it? Petrichor.
Petrichor? Yeah, so petrichor is a catch-all term used.
Petrichor.
Petrichor is a catch-all colloquial term for it.
Schooling me on horticulture. You're killing me. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like they communicate to each other, and so the concept is, do they have exopheromones, pheromones that allow them to communicate to their environment outside of themselves? And are some of these compounds that we talk about, even stuff like THC and cannabis, is that an exopheromone, a way for it to communicate outside of itself with its environment and the beings it shares that environment with? Is it talking to us in a way? It's establishing some sort of relationship with us because plants are inexorably linked to it. So.
Petrichor is also apparently used in Greek mythology to refer to the golden fluid that flows in the veins of immortals.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, I think I'm going to shut down calls, and we're going to shut down for the night.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. If you watched any or all of it, we love you. We'll be back. I'm going to cut some more segments. I got one out this week. I hope to get probably 3 out in the next week, but hold me to it. If I don't get, I should be held to it. And we'll see what of this I'm able to cut. I don't know. It was a little. Sometimes it's an interesting editing job, and sometimes it's not. So, please do like and subscribe. Give us a follow on Rumble. Check us out on darkdial.com. You can find all of our social links on there. We have a forum you can sign up for where, we talk about all of this stuff, and you can talk with like-minded people or not like-minded people, more importantly.
Get in arguments. Give me something to moderate already.
We do have a Discord, too, but honestly, we'll see. See where that goes. It's a little quiet.
Get there.
It's true.
Anything you guys got?
Not much other than have a great next week. Are we? Next weekend? Next week.
It's the end of the night. It was a fairly long show.
Eat your vegetables, but remember that they're screaming in pain as you do.
You're killing them.